For Season 2 in MidSouth Madness, we'd like to welcome our first title sponsor, CMC Fabrication and Curtis Michael Coffee. CMC Fabrication is a custom fabrication shop located in Mooresville, North Carolina. As a Chicago native, Kurt spent his 30-plus years in racing cutting his teeth around the local and regional dirt tracks in the Chicagoland area. Kurt followed his passion for motorsports and found his dream leading him to Mooresville, North Carolina. Once there, Kurt's skills as a fabricator were quickly noticed by some of the top teams at all levels of NASCAR. Kurt has built everything from pole winners to race winners. Most recently, Kurt fabricated the Sugarland Shine 250 NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series race winner for the Talladega race, finding his way to victory lane. Once breaking out and opening his own custom fab shop, Kurt's skills have shined and become unmatched. Everything from NASCAR bodies, Baja razors, office furniture, decorative railing, to custom water fountains, and everything in between, CMC can build it. MidSouth Madness is proud and honored to have CMC Fabrication on board as our title sponsor for Season 2. If you have any custom fab needs,
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome out to the Mid-South Madness Championship round. This is the thing that we've all been waiting for 18 weeks. We've been fighting, we've been driving, we've been trying to get to this point where 5 guys are going to drive for the championship tonight. I'm Sean Griffith. I am here with my broadcast partner, Corey Knight. Corey, how's it going tonight, buddy?
What is up, buddy? How are you doing? Ready for a good one?
Man, I'm ready for a great one. We've been excited about this all week. We've been going back and forth, me, you, Trip, a lot of different people have been going back and forth about who is going to take it tonight. We'll get into the players here in just a second, but we've got 80 laps here at Auto Club Speedway tonight. And Corey, you've driven on Auto Club Speedway before. What is it like out there?
It's different. Like it's a very different track. It's long. It's got some high speeds, but it's not one of them pedal to the metal kind of tracks. You're gonna have to lift. You're gonna have to work on saving your tires, and it's gonna make for some good side-by-side racing. I'm ready.
Yeah, 80 laps doesn't sound like that much, but it's a 2-mile track, so we got 160 miles to get this thing done tonight. And like you said, a little bit of a different track, kind of a bumpy track. And so sometimes when you get into those bumps, those back tires come out from underneath you, and all of a sudden you're sideways. So we're going to see some action tonight. I'm not sure everybody's going to get through cleanly.
Oh, absolutely not. I think what's going to happen is I think these guys are going to get kind of froggy early on. Somebody's going to punch the gas a little too early, and you're going to see some guys sailing up. And once the first guy sails, usually it takes a couple guys with him. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right. Well, we love this league that we're in right now, but really quick, while we've got people's attentions here at the very beginning, let's talk about next season, Corey, because we've got 3 big leagues in the fixed side and then 1 big league coming up in the Open Cup side.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good too. I know you and Tripp have been working really hard on it during this season, and so we're going to open up the Truck Series, Xfinity, and the Cup to 3 different styles of racers, 3 different talent levels, and going to have some big payouts across the board if you want to go ahead and go over them.
Yeah, $300 for first place for the Truck Series. You got $500 for first place in the Xfinity Series, $1,000 for first place in the Cup Series. Now, that's all fixed racing. But then we also are proud to introduce the S-Rock series. So this is an open cup series. So now you can change up your setups. You can make your car faster. You can make it tighter, looser, whatever you want to do to that car to make it better. You can do that. And there's a $500 first place prize at the end of that one too.
Yeah, this is the series where I think kind of the cream's going to rise to the top. I think the guys, I love fixed setups. I'm not going to lie. Like, fixed setups are my thing. Everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody races together. But with fixed setups, you get a lot of what I call pack racing. A lot of guys get together because they're kind of racing the same setups, and the talent pool kind of spreads. In the open setup, you can have some guys that are so with a good setup that can kind of raise themselves up to the front pack. Some good racers with a bad setup will fall to the back of the pack. Like, they're all over the place. And so it definitely puts guys that are meant to be in the front of the pack in the front of the pack. And it's going to be real fun to see next season, especially with the big payout.
It is going to be an absolute blast, and we're going to have a ton of drivers in this thing. So anybody out there that is an iRacing fan or a driver, definitely get your friends involved in this, get yourself involved in this, because there is a lot of money going on. And we'll talk more about the money side of what's going on tonight, but I can tell you right now, we are paying out over $1,500 after this race tonight.
And some people say it's just a game. Some people say it's just a simulator. Some people say it's just something you do in your spare time. But I mean, $1,500 spends no matter where you go. So it's gonna be a real good night for somebody in here.
It's going to be great. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of this stuff, because we have these season-long awards, and these guys have been battling all season long to figure out who will win which of these awards, that sort of thing. So let's start off with the team championship, because I'll tell you, and this goes kind of along with the election, we can go ahead and call this one. It's already over. So the team championships of the league, the Steak Dance, this is the Risk It for the Brisket team championship winners. So we sincerely appreciate Steak Dance Racing or Steak Dance Seasoning for sponsoring this. Please go to steakdance.com, get your seasoning there. It makes your steaks absolutely incredible. But Stryker Motorsports is going to win the team championship.
Yeah, and I could say I saw this coming from about midway through the season. Beginning of the season, it was a really tight race. It was a pretty big toss-up between a couple teams, but as the season played out, Stryker kind of made a stance and just kept going. They never really let up. Them and I think Rev ended up being second place in this. They were both always in the top of the pack almost every single week. So good job for Stryker Motorsports for pulling this one out.
Yep. So that's $200 that team is going to be able to split for themselves and have a good time with. So before we've even started the racing tonight, we're already paying out $200. So that's kind of how we do things here at MidSouth Madness.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, that $200 is going to spend no matter who you are. So these guys are going to enjoy it. So hopefully they take themselves out for a nice steak dinner and see what happens.
Oh, man, it is going to be absolutely so much fun the rest of the time. So let's get into our next award. So this is the Brookstone Animal Hospital Man's Best Friend Award. Now, Corey, this was voted on by the drivers. And so the drivers had to vote on who just the best guy in the league was. Not necessarily the best driver, but just the best guy. And that person, compliments of Brookstone Animal Hospital, is going to receive $50 cash and then $25 to the charity of his choice. And Corey, I'll tell you, the winner of this isn't even going to be here tonight. He's already told us he's not going to, but I have to sincerely agree with the winner of this. And here he is, Mr. Adam Pettit.
I 100% agree. Adam Pettit is definitely one of those guys that, I mean, anybody who knows Adam knows that, like, any chance he gets to talk to you, he always tells you, hey, man, if you ever need anything, I'll help you out. If you want to practice, I'll practice with you. Hey, man, if you need this, if you need that, like, I'm always there for you. And this guy's done it all season long without anything in return expected. So, I mean, I think he's absolutely deserving for it. Adam Pettit's a great racer, and we're glad to have him in this league.
Oh, absolutely. He's been just a friend of mine. We have had these hour-long conversations just about shooting the breeze, but not just that, about computers. He's a computer genius. He builds those in his spare time. He builds all sorts of things for iRacing. He will bring you into his team's Discord and let you practice with the team just so you can get better. I mean, that is the type of friend that you want in iRacing.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I said, Adam since day one. I think I'm the one that brought Adam into this league. Like it was a Facebook post looking for a paint scheme for one of his cars, and I did it. Then it just had a just casual conversation. I was like, hey man, like we have this league. It's a bunch of guys trying to get better. If you want to like race or bring a team, and he came in and like ever since day one, him and his team. He brought in Rev'd. I mean, they have always been very good, very nice guys, very competitive, and very respectful. So, I mean, I appreciate him and the team he brought with him. I mean, he's definitely what you're looking for in a team captain.
Actually, in a little bit of a surprise, I see him out in the Discord right now. And tell you what, let's see if we can. I mean, this is a surprise to him. He does not have any idea we're doing this. So let's see if we can grab Mr. Adam Pettit here really quickly and pull him into the broadcast booth. Hey, Adam, this is Corey and Sean up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, how's it going, gentlemen?
Man, we are doing absolutely phenomenal. You don't know this yet because you're not watching the stream right now, but buddy, congratulations. You are the Brookstone Animal Hospital Man's Best Friend Award winner.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, you almost said something you shouldn't have said on the air, but I appreciate you holding back there. But yeah, man. So you get $50 for winning that. I'll tell you, I was in charge of the voting and all that stuff. More than half the votes were for you, buddy. And so
Really?
just really a great thing. We didn't have to wait 6 days to figure out who won that thing. It was pretty clear on the offset. So the other part to that is you get a $25 donation to the charity of your choice. So be thinking about who you'd like to donate that $25 to, and get with me and Tripp, and we will be sure to make that donation in your name.
Awesome. Hey, everyone, thank you for voting for me. Really wasn't expecting it, but thank you very much.
Well, and I mean, we honestly weren't expecting you to be here tonight, but hopefully if you get out there on the track, we'd love to see you drive as well.
Yes, I will be able to race tonight. I'm actually logging in right now and firing up the rig.
Fantastic, buddy. Well, we will see you out there on the track later tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Adam.
All right.
And there he is. That is our award winner. So congratulations to him. So that's another $75 we're paying out tonight. Already up to $275. And man, we haven't even started the race yet.
All right. It's real quick to go broke in this, ain't it?
Yeah, definitely. So next up, we have something that's near and dear to your heart, Corey. So we've got the Do-Gooder Award. So if you want to tell us about that.
All right. Well, this was a thing that we came up with. I want to say that like kind of towards the middle / the beginning third of the season. We're having problems with guys that were just kind of getting froggy, a little too much door banging. And so what we decided to do is kind of incentivize the guys to race clean. And so what we did is I was captain of the Do-Gooders, and I did the paints by night paint schemes of the season. So we decided to come up with a Do-Gooders Clean Driver Award where we incentivize the guys, no incident points. You get $5 a race. And at the end of the season, we'll pay out the cleanest driver for the season, a $50 cash bonus. There's no real stipulation besides race clean. And I don't know if it brought up if it made guys race cleaner or if just us getting better made guys race cleaner. But I mean, it was something that kind of like the least we could do to give these guys a little incentive to not be as aggressive as they were. So, I mean, I don't know if it worked or not, but I mean, we're giving out some money for the guys that did good.
Yeah, and these guys that are on the screen right now, so Jacob Smith leading the way for the season-long Do-Gooders Award. So the Do-Gooder Clean Driver Award, sponsored by Paints by Night. And so right now, Jacob Smith is averaging 5.56 incident points per race. So for those of you that don't know what that means, anytime you get into an accident, anytime you go through the grass, anytime you hit the wall, whatever it is, you get incident points for that. And so if you average less than 8, you're doing phenomenal. That's really, really good. Jacob Smith is averaging 5.56, Jay Graves averaging 6, and then Dean Brummett averaging 6.18. So this one's not over yet. So we got to figure out who wins this at the end of this race tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, with that race being so close, it's anybody's game. The only thing that may help Jacob kind of hedge his way off the competition is the fact that towards the end of the season, we implemented the drive-through penalties. So once the guys get to 12, it kind of slows them down having to do the drive-through penalties as far as getting instant points. That's the only thing that may be in his favor. Besides that, Jay Graves and Dean Brummett are definitely on the heels.
Yeah, and once again, that was sponsored by Paints by Night. So, and right now, hey, we've got Corey Knight here with us. And so Corey is the one that does all of these paints. And if you need a paint done for any car in iRacing, then Corey is absolutely amazing at it. You can follow him on Trading Paints at Ashton Knight. So ASHTON Knight. And then And so you can look him up. You can look at all the paints that he's done, or you can order a paint from him on speedracingnetwork.com.
Correct, and it's a very quick turnaround. Usual turnaround time is less than 6 to 12 hours. If I'm busy, I give you heads up before you place the order. So yeah, anytime you need anything, all you gotta do is drop a line or find me on Facebook or Trading Paints, and I'll be there.
All right. Well, so now we've talked about the team. We've talked about the Do-Gooder Award. We've talked about the Man's Best Friend Award. But now let's get into the real money here. So we are talking about, and see now they've already messed up my screen here. So I'm going to try to fix that here really quickly. So we're going to talk about the individuals that we have here as well. So all sorts of fun going on out here. And once again, I'll try. There you go. We'll fix that. Hopefully that fixes automatically. In fact, we'll go back and do that. There you go. All right, so up front, we got Bobby Brill, Dean Brummett, Daniel Baudler, Devin Zimmerman, and Matt Johnson. So those are the 5 tonight that are going for a championship.
Yeah, and it is going to be as old JR said, it's about to be a slobber knocker. I promise you, this right here is about to be some good racing. Those top 5 guys up top have fought, clawed, done everything possible to get up there. I mean, so it's about to be insane. Like I'm actually kind of happy to be sitting in this booth watching this instead of being in the middle of this race, because there's going to be some great racing all over this track tonight, definitely up front.
Man, if you look at just the names that are the people that are eliminated, so the names of the guys that these people beat in order to get to where they're at right now. Adam Pettit, incredible driver, had a couple wins on the season. Jake Rowell had a couple wins on the season. Aaron Gerwitz, no wins, but very consistent. Danny Dow with a win. Troy Dow with a win. Chad Wampler with a win. All these guys had wins, and all these guys were super consistent all year long. But these 5 beat every single one of them, and now here they are racing for the money.
Yeah, and you couldn't have written a script to end up with these 5 guys in the top 5. Like, just the way everything has played out throughout our playoff system has been insane. We've had guys with internet problems that have missed it. We've had guys that couldn't get back in time. We've had guys that wrecked with 5 laps to go. And all that has shaped up to this field of 5. So these 5 guys that are in there are damn near destined to be there. Like, it's going to be some good racing.
Well, so those 5 guys, this is what they're going for. So here are your championship payouts. This is what is going to be paid out tonight. So first place, $500. Second place, $250. Third place, $175. Fourth place, $100. Fifth place, $75. So, man, even if you wreck out the first lap, you're still going to get $75 if you were in that top 5.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those things. I mean it's good money. I mean, if you think about what we're doing here on a weekly basis, like we're literally like going to our own little virtual racing land and throwing down some laps with a lot of our really good friends. And now we're doing it for money. Like, it can't get any better. Like, it's probably one of the coolest things you'll ever do in your life would be to race in this series.
Well, let's talk about each one of these 5 drivers here really quickly. So let's start off with Bobby Brill. Now, Corey, Bobby's had 4 wins on the season. He's been super consistent. He has an average start and an average finish, both in the top 10. So he is always up at the front. But he does have COVID right now. He is still racing, but we know from Dean Brummett a couple weeks ago that it makes you very, very weak. Not sure what he can do tonight.
You know, one of his wins came when he was part of the Do-Gooders, and I will say this, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. If there's a way for Bobby Brill to win this race, I promise you he's going to give 150% to get it. I mean, that guy, last week I was in the race chatter and not my team chatter, listening to him and O'Shell talk about it. He's one of those guys that, like, if from the start of the race till the time it's over, he's scheming, doing whatever he can to get to the front of the pack. So even if he's running 75% of what he's got, if he can save his tires, go on a long run, I still think he's going to be at the top of this pack come the end with a checkered flag. I mean, you can't count him out. Like, I refuse to count Bobby Brill out of this race.
Well, you can see there on the screen. So his biggest strength is saving tires. And if this goes to a long run, then he has to be the favorite. The other thing with him is look at his consistency throughout the year. He has only had 3 finishes outside the top 10 all season long. That is absolutely incredible.
Yes, and when you race around him, you can see why. The dude just puts his head down and charges to the front. That's what he does.
Well, next up, we got Dean Brummett. And so Dean is coming off a win last week. Again, came back from COVID last week to win that race. So he has definitely had the momentum all week long. He's from Bluewell, West Virginia. He's another driver that averages in the top 10 for both start and finishing averages. So only 2 drivers can do that, and that's Bobby Brill and Dean Brummett.
Yeah, and if I was a betting man and I said, hey, like, pick the guys you think is going to win, these first 2 slides are the guys that are probably going to be door banging this entire race to be number 1 and number 2. Like, these 2 guys, I just have that feeling. They both have the same mindset. They both like being in the front of the pack. They don't like being in traffic. These 2 guys, I think, are going to be the 2 kind of rising to the top towards the end of this.
We saw Dean Brummett's name a little bit earlier on the do-gooder award, meaning that he's in that contention that he's one of the cleanest drivers in the league, and that's one of the things we've noticed is when he races completely clean, no incidents, no anything, then all of a sudden he's up there at the front and nobody can catch him.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to get to the front. And like I said, him and I think Brill, if it goes on a long run, both of them are going to pull away from the pack, and you're going to see those 2 kind of doing their own little dance together.
Well, next up, we got Daniel Baudler. Now, Daniel actually texted us a little bit earlier today. He had some internet issues. Apparently, they got those fixed because he is in the lobby. So he's from Iowa, so middle of nowhere pretty much. So, no, actually, we love Daniel. We mess around with him a lot. But his biggest strength, honestly, is he is the guy that he wants to start up front, stay up front. So he will never hold back on the track at all.
Absolutely. And I think Baudler is the one. The reason I said that Brill and Dean are going to be up front is I know Adam kind of likes being the underdog, likes people underestimating him. And if anybody's going to upset my picks, it's going to be Daniel Baudler, I promise you. And he's going to tell me about it after the race.
Well, so you can see on here also, he's got some momentum coming in too because 3 top 5s in a row. And so it's only a matter of time before he hits victory lane again. It could be tonight.
Yeah, and he is one of those guys that I promise you, no matter what happens, if he finds a way to somehow start in the back, 3 or 4 laps in, he's somehow gonna be in the front. Like it's just what he does. I'm usually in the back to the middle of the pack, and he always blows my doors off. So he will find a way of getting himself to the front of the pack.
Next up, we got Devin Zimmerman. Now, Devin doesn't have a win on the season, but he has been literally the most consistent driver of the entire league. Where he starts is typically where he finishes, but he is very stealthy. He's one of those that, he'll be in 10th or 11th place, and then you'll look up 3 laps later, and he's in 2nd or 1st.
And that's kind of what I was going to say about Zimmerman. You can never really count him out because he's always up there. Like, I don't know. I'm not even in the same races as this guy, I don't think. Like, we're sitting there talking, and, like, I never see him. Like, somehow I never see him, but he's always up in the top 10. Like, it's like he never falls to the back. He never really shoots to the front. He's always right in that little bubble, and he keeps slinging top 10s. Like, that's what he does.
And you can see the blue car there. That is not his typical car paint. Typically, he has a green number 33, but he wanted to run a special paint tonight for his son that has diabetes. So that's the JDRF car, the diabetes car there. So we appreciate him doing that. We appreciate his service in the Air Force as well, active duty Air Force. Man, just one of the great guys in the league.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's, like I say, he's been very consistent all season. I look forward to seeing how he finishes this.
Well, finally, we have Matt Johnson, and Matt Johnson is the one that, man, he always lets other people make the mistakes, and he takes advantage of those mistakes. That's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing. He doesn't push the car too hard, but then everybody else just starts fumbling around him.
Yeah, and this is probably, out of all the races we just talked about, this is the guy I'm most used to racing around is Matt Johnson. And he kind of does what I call yo-yo racing. Like, he'll go to the top of the pack, something will happen, he'll somehow fall to the back of the pack with us, and then he somehow shoots himself back up top. And I don't know how he does it. Like, I'm definitely not an iRacing expert, but he does something to where he'll spend 10, 15 laps back in the back with us, and then all of a sudden he's in the top of the pack. Like, I have no idea how he does it, but he does it almost every race, and he has pulled out some miraculous finishes doing this.
Yeah, I mean, these 5 guys are going to be absolutely insane tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. But these guys also race on teams. And so let's talk about those teams a little bit with the Paints by Night team introductions. And we'll just kind of do this quickly because we got about 6 more minutes until we get started here. But let's start off with Stryker Motorsports because, they won the team championship and they got a couple guys on the track tonight. Travis Trevelyan will not be here with us tonight, but Dean Brummett in the number 25 and Jacob Smith in the number 15 car, both with a few wins.
Yes, sir. They're definitely a team to watch for this entire race.
Next up, we got Revved Racing, and again, you just cannot keep Adam Pettit off the course. He said a little bit earlier this week that he wasn't going to make it. He had some prior engagements, and apparently those things went away because here he is. So the number 57 of Adam Pettit with a couple of wins. The number 09 of Aaron Gerwitz will not be here tonight. Brandon Key in the 11 will be here tonight. Sean Dice, I don't believe, will be here either. But, last race of the season, if you don't have a lot to race for, I understand, maybe not going to be here. But Adam Pettit is one of those guys where if there's a race and he can join it, he will join it.
I love his priorities.
Next up, we got Stake Dance Racing. Now, one of the guys on Stake Dance Racing is Daniel Baudler. In fact, all 4 of the Stake Dance Racing team made it to the playoffs. The other 3 have been eliminated. So Daniel Baudler is the lone Stake Dance Racing guy still out there, but he's got a good shot. And I'm looking out there in the Discord. And I'm trying to see, I don't see any of his teammates in here. So he might be going at it alone tonight.
Yeah, I think he is. I was looking at the same thing. I don't see anybody but him in this race.
Next up, we got Bronco Motorsports. Now, Bronco is a team that started off as a different team. It started off as Wild Bill Motorsports. They, about 2 or 3 races in, they decided to rebrand as Bronco Motorsports. A new logo, new attitude, new leader. So Chris Massey, stepped up and led this team, and they have made some real headway.
Yes, team has done a complete turnaround, and I love the way they're charging forward in this league.
Yeah, and so Chris Massey is on the track, Greg Olnick on the track, Brad Herman on the track, Brian Crocker on the track. None of them racing for a championship. A couple of them are racing for the secondary championship that we have that we won't really talk too much about, but definitely 4 incredible drivers.
Yeah, they're definitely something to be bargained with on the track, I promise.
Next up, Tank Racing, and this is the one that has Devin Zimmerman on it. And the fun thing with Tank Racing is when they get together in a pack, it is tough to pass them because they are just good.
Yeah, the stripes literally line up, and you usually see them chugging through the pack pretty quickly.
So you'll keep an eye out on Mike Klepicki and Derek De Silva as well, because both of them really great drivers. Mike Klepicki, I believe he was second place last season in MidSouth Madness. So just really, really great drivers here. But Devin Zimmerman, the one taking the torch and running with it.
Yeah, and he's definitely ran with it all the way to the end, it looks like.
Next up, we got Team SRN. So this is the one where this is kind of, the home team. So we're Speed Racing Network. This is Team Speed Racing Network. So we got David Duke, Danny Dow, Danny Setzer, Thomas Rutherford. Looking out there on the track right now, I believe I don't see Thomas Rutherford. I know he's traveling today, but the other 3 are here.
Yes, sir. I do not see Thomas either. I was just looking over that. I do not see him in this at all.
So Flashpoint Racing now, this is another team that kind of got put together at the last second. So you got the number 8 of Justin Boyles, the number 66 of Jonathan Byer, the number 62 of Matt Johnson, who is still in the playoffs, and the number 00 of Marshall Stanley.
Yes, sir. And it looks like Byer and Matthew Johnson, the only 2 that are going to be here tonight for their team. Yeah,
but still, having one teammate out there on the track, that could definitely help you.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, we got the Do-Gooders, and you'll notice one of the names on here, Corey Knight. He's deciding not to race. He's helping me out on the broadcast here tonight, but we still love him and hope he's doing well, obviously. But then we have Taylor Smith out there on the track, the number 24. And Corey, you may have heard me say this before. I believe he's the most improved driver in the entire league.
I have raced around him this entire season, and I can agree with that 100%. From just the cleanliness to his overall performance, everything about him has improved this season.
Next up, we got H2K Motorsports. And so this is another team that has a ton of talent on it, starting off with Joseph DuPont, the number 88. Then you got the 13 of Josh Witt, the 19 of Justin Kruckman, and then the number 42 of Duncan Straska, a team that you should watch out for next season.
Yeah, they've been kind of building all season, and they've steadily made their way up. So, I mean, I definitely look forward to seeing them next season.
And last but certainly not least, we've got Jam Racing. Now, Jam is one of those teams that's kind of an upstart team. They are definitely improving week after week after week. You got Mike Lewis in the number 5. You got Joe Ruggles in the number 96. Jay Graves in the number 4, who you saw his name earlier. He's on the list for the Do-Gooder Award. So he's got something to race for tonight. Got some great drivers here. Just not really their season this season. They will improve next season.
And the whole team is here. I think this is probably the only team that we have the whole team here. Maybe Bronco Motorsports.
Bronco's here. Yeah, Bronco's here. But that's
those
it.
Two teams.
Yeah, definitely. And so, man, all of those are great drivers. We've got 24 drivers on the track. So that is exactly what we're talking about. And we will get out there to the track here very shortly so we can kind of show you guys what the grid looks like. But let's start off and say thank you to our sponsors. Let's start off with CMC Fabrication. CMC sponsored our very first race and our last race, so they are our title sponsor here at the CMC Fabrication 160. We certainly appreciate them. Next up, you got Dent Wizard, the leaders in paintless dent repair. So we appreciate them being a sponsor of ours. Thomas Rutherford works with them. Really great guy, really great company there. Then we got Brookstone Animal Hospital. For the man's best friend, find the best vet at Brookstone Animal Hospital. Silverback Tax Solutions. When the IRS monkey is on your back, get that monkey off your back with Silverback Tax Solutions. Paints by Night, the leader in iRacing paint schemes. Go to speedracingnetwork.com or follow Ashton Knight on Trading Paints. Griffith CPA Firm. When they're making taxes less taxing since 1986. And finally, Steak Dance Racing. So Steak Dance Seasoning. So if you want to make your taste buds dance, get some Steak Dance Seasoning. All right, Corey. So I believe we are just about ready. We are going to show everybody what the grid looks like here. So first up, pole position, Dean Brummett, one of our playoff drivers, and right behind Bobby Brill. We talked about that a little earlier. Those are the two.
Yes, sir. Those are the two. And I mean, everybody behind them is looking to mess up their party. You got David Duke and Danny Dow right behind them, and then Zimmerman and Pettit right behind them. So it's going to be a heck of a start, I promise.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We got Jay Graves in 7th. We got Mike Lepicki in 8th. Jacob Smith in 9th. Brad Herman 10th. Then Danny Setzer 11th, and Jonathan Byer there in 12th. So that is your top 12. And so we are just about ready to get this thing going. And you can see the cars out there on the grid right now. So we will go out and take a look. And that's the Bobby Brill car, the number 1. Dean Brummett has not quite jumped in just yet. He will. And we will see them drive off here in just a second. They will get one lap of warming up. And then that pace car is going to dive off, and we are going to get started on this thing. So not really sure where Dean Brummett is. There he is. He just blinked in right there. So you can hear those engines revving up. They are ready to get after it. Out there in the chat right now, Brian O'Shell, who is actually on the track, says, Team Brill, shake and bake time. That's their little phrase. They enjoy that. Travis Trevelyan saying, let's go, Dean. That's one of his Stryker Motorsports teammates. And then Marie Brill. I apologize for that. Team Brill, let's bring it home. So a lot of Brill fans out there, a lot of Dean Brummett fans out there. Man, a lot of fans, period, out there. I hope everybody's buckled up. We're about to get started.
Shake and bake. I feel like I've heard that before. I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, it was something like a movie or something. I don't know. Something like that.
I can believe it. But here we go, man. I'm ready to get this party started.
Yeah, man, I've been waiting all week for this. I've been looking at the track all week, just watching the drivers all week. This is going to be the race of the year.
Oh yeah, these guys are about to get at it, and we're about to see how the rest of the field plays out with them.
And so that pace car is going to come around, and you will see it dive off after this backstretch. And so 2 miles is this track, and you'll see the cars kind of bouncing up and down a little bit as they get back up to speed because it's a very bumpy track, very tough track. I tried to drive it this week with the rest of the racers. Corey, you were in that race as well. Not an easy track.
No, if you get in the wrong part of the track and you hit the gas too early, your car does what I just call sails. Like it literally just literally it catches wind and the car just goes to the wall. Like you've got to lift, you've got to slam on the brakes, and neither one of those really help because the car usually is already on a very quick path up there. So that's why I was saying earlier, if somebody's going to lose it, they tend to collect people when they do it because of the way the car lifts up there. It's gonna be interesting to see these guys up front. If they can all stay together, they should be able to pull away from the pack because somebody in the middle is gonna end up losing it pretty quickly.
All right, pace car dives off. Dean Brummett takes off immediately, gets a great jump on Bobby Brill on the outside there, and so Dean Brummett will get out to a nice little lead.
Yeah, he's out to a nice lead, and they're 3 wide for seconds. You got Duke sandwiching Brill in between him and Danny Dow, and now they're starting to get single file. Looks like Danny Dow's about to lose some positions. And Brill doing completely opposite what I thought. Brill is actually staying on the gas behind Duke. He's looks like he's making a push. He wants the front.
So Brill cuts down to the inside. He's going to get a fender on David Duke there, so he's going to get that inside line and make that pass. So now, let's see if he can hold it through this corner. He should be able to.
Yeah, it looks like you got about half a second lead on the field, going to 3/4, and now about to be almost a second lead between Brummett and the rest of the pack. So we're going to see what this does to his tires in the long run.
And so Brummett, there's your lead right there. So everybody else behind him just trying to stick with it. A lot of race to go here, so Brummett's not going to burn anything up here. He's pretty good at saving tires himself, honestly.
Yeah, and looking at the rest of the pack, something interesting is most of the guys are dropping down low and kind of going outside and then kind of dropping in, but Zimmerman's running a really high line. Looks like all the way around this track. I don't know if you can see that, Sean, but Zimmerman is holding the top and kind of staying out there most of this race so far. He's staying on the outside and he keeps staying out there. Maybe he's got a different tire strategy.
Yeah, everybody's got their own unique strategies. Now, somebody else I need to point out here. So Jacob Smith, they're the number 15 car right on the inside of Zimmerman, now tucked in right behind him. You got to be careful for him as well. He's going for that do-gooder award, but, man, he is one of those drivers. He wants the win.
Yeah, and these guys are actually tucking in single file a whole lot quicker and a whole lot better than I expected. I expected a whole lot more shuffling kind of in the middle of the pack. And so far, it's been pretty clean. These guys are just kind of lining up. So we're going to see where they make the spaces to try to overtake some guys.
And so we are keeping an eye on the front of the race for you. Dean Brummett's opened up almost a 1-second lead. So this is the better racing back here. And you can see Dean Brummett coming down and how much room he's got down there. But everybody kind of lining up right now.
Yeah, everybody's lining up, and the rest of the pack, if they want to catch Dean, some of these guys have got to start working together and lining up 2, 3, 4 cars and just try to take advantage of that draft they're going to create and try to catch up to him, because if he's up there by himself, nobody's going to be able to catch them by themselves. They're going to have to get a friend and kind of run.
So you're taking a look right now at Devin Zimmerman in that JDRF car that he designed for his son. But a little bit in front of him, you got Bobby Brill taking that second position, opening up a little bit of a lead on David Duke, trying to make this a 2-car race.
Yeah, and Duke has been consistent all season. He just had a string of really bad luck. So, I definitely would put Duke in one of the guys that could definitely pull out a W here. Pretty much everybody in this top 10, if you give them the chance, any of these guys can definitely shake out a win. There's nobody up there that's not supposed to be there, I promise.
Well, looking back in the pack a little bit, let's get to our other playoff drivers. You got Dean Brummett in first. You got Bobby Brill in second. You got Devin Zimmerman back there in sixth. And then going back a little further, back here in 12th position in that number 62 car there, that is Matthew Johnson. And his teammates down there, or right there with him, that's Jonathan Byer as well. And then back a little further in 15th position, you got Daniel Baudler. And so Daniel's got a lot of work to do, so does Matthew Johnson.
Yeah, really, and Baudler's usually not one of them guys that likes to stick to the back. That's why I don't know if he's got a scheme up his sleeve or if he's playing for the long run. This is definitely not Baudler like character. Like, this is not like, if you were to ask me where he would be, I would definitely not tell you hanging out in the back and kind of doing his thing. But he's tucked behind on his screen. Looks like he's tucked behind somebody right now, just trying to make up some time. But he's definitely not one of those guys that likes hanging out back there. So I'm really not quite sure what he's doing.
Well, right now he is our biggest mover on the track right now, up 5 positions from where he started, and so he is definitely making moves, but he's got a long way to go. But so do we. We've got another 73 laps of this, buddy.
Yeah, and the pacing of this field is really weird. Like this is probably one of the more defensive ways I've seen almost any of these guys drive all season. You've got a second lead between 1 and 2, half a second between 2 and 3. And then the rest of the field from 4 back are just kind of like going for Sunday strolls together. So I don't know if these guys are going to rely on pit strategies. I don't know if these guys are going to rely on, I don't know, like tires. I really don't know what these guys are doing right now. But I would expect a lot of these guys to get neck and neck and try to make a push on Dean. But I just don't see it happening so far. I mean, Duke and Dow are teammates, and those guys are nowhere near each other right now. You think they'd be bumper to bumper trying to push each other around the track.
Well, Devin Zimmerman trying to make some headway here. He's still sitting there in 6th position. Daniel Baudler has moved up even further. He's up in 13th now, passing Matt Johnson for that 13th position. So Daniel Baudler, Matthew Johnson going nose to tail right now.
Yeah, and looks like I see one of the Tank Racing guys kind of making a push on the inside.
Oh, no, and Baudler just turns Jay Graves. So
yep,
oh, no, big wreck.
It's a big wreck.
And that will bring out our first caution of the evening. And so we will go back and get a wreck replay sponsored by Dent Wizard. And we will see what happened here. And we saw it live, so it's not going to be too much different than what we saw. I will try to get you a different angle here. And so here we go. Daniel Baudler down on the inside. Not really sure who was at fault there. It looked like Jay was coming down just a hair, but not a lot of room up there.
No, I'm listening to the race chatter right now. It seems like there's some confusion there. Daniel feels like he was on a pretty good run, and feels like that Jay's just kind of dropped in on him. Can't really tell by the replay, like you were saying, but according to the conversations right now, they think Graves just kind of floated down there into him. But it's racing. Stuff happens.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that a lot of these drivers have learned this season. Racing's racing. Not everybody is going to have a clean race every time. Every time we get into a race, 2 guys are going for the same exact spot at the same exact time, and that causes cautions.
Yeah, and that kind of locked up. From what I'm seeing, looks like Jake Rowell got a piece of that. Looks like Greg Olnick got a piece of it, and looks like those 3 are the 3 actually involved in it.
So we're about to get busy down here on pit road, so a lot of action going on there. And we will see Dean Brummett bring that leading car. And again, he was on the pole position, so he's going to get that very front pit stall, but right behind him, Bobby Brill. So we'll see who gets out of this pit stop first. They both got in at the same exact time.
Yeah, it looks like Danny Dow, looking at pit view, Danny Dow actually missed his pit box, so he is just now getting to his pit box. I expect Danny Dow to lose some positions right here.
And it looks like Dean Brummett's going to get back out there on the track in first place. Nobody stayed out at all, and that's another thing that's kind of rare. Nobody on the entire track stayed out.
No, and I think David Duke actually just squeezed Bobby Brill out of the pit box, and so I think David Duke just took second from Bobby Brill on pit.
He did, and so David Duke will take that outside position, but that puts Bobby Brill on the inside right behind Dean, and that could give him a little bit of a draft.
Yeah, and I think it may actually be a better spot for Bobby, like thinking about this out loud, because Bobby can actually jump as soon as Dean jumps. And if done properly, those 2 can pull away from the pack and have their own race.
And you can hear, and I'm not sure if our audience can hear that or not, but Dean Brummett is cutting off his engine every single time he gets a little bit of a run. He'll cut off his engine. Why would you do that, Corey?
It's a fuel strategy, and it's one of those things that if you're on a track like this and you're expecting to go really long green flag runs, you do a lot of weird stuff. Like Tuesday night when we did our practice race here, the final run was a green flag run, and everybody was set to fall. I think it was 4 or 5 laps short, and there were guys like I was clutching and dropping the clutch as soon as I could, get into a corner to kill my engine and save as much gas as possible. Other guys were killing their ignitions, and you can stretch, done properly, you can stretch your car out another probably 4 or 5 laps if you have a big enough lead. Like, it is possible. And the guy who won our Tuesday night race, that's literally what he did. He sat there and played the scheme perfectly and ended up winning because everybody else had to take green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and if you're taking a look at the pit strategy here, so a pit window here is about 30 laps. So 30 to 32 laps is what we're being told by the drivers. And so here we are on lap 10. To lap 11, really. So everybody pitted on this lap. So if you can stretch it to 35 and then go another 35, you can make it on one more pit stop.
Yeah, and I don't think, like we were talking about earlier, I don't see another stretch without us having a yellow. I don't think that was the only yellow. I expect 1 to 2 more yellows, and usually it's going to happen where we're at right now, the restarts, or when the guys are getting froggy trying to get positions. Because with this track being so wide, a lot of guys just kind of lose themselves on the track and think, hey, I'm by myself, and they'll drop into spots and not realize there's a guy right behind them.
Well, here we go again. So Dean Brummett gets that green flag as soon as the pace car drops off, and he takes off. Now, Bobby didn't let him get too far away this time around.
No, Bobby kept it to a third of a second, and Bobby, if Duke can get behind him or Jake right there, I mean, he's got a chance right now to get some draft and catch up, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, we got another yellow flag. It looks like Mike Lepicki taking a spin.
Yep, kind of exactly what I was thinking, man. As soon as they get rid of these restarts.
Well, we will once again go back for another Dent Wizard wreck replay.
Yeah, and it was another restart incident where the guys just, I say situational awareness. Some guys get a little heavy-footed and don't think about it, and then somebody hits their brakes, somebody else is hard on the gas, and you just kind of go into them.
And you
That's
can
exactly
see
what happened.
Yeah, Mike Lepicki there on the outside. Looks like Brandon Key, the number 11, got into the back of him. And it looks like the 62, that's Matt Johnson, slammed hard into him. So that's going to get a lot of damage on Matt Johnson. That is not going to help him at all.
No, it looks like from my replay, it looks like 3 or 4 guys actually got sucked up in that little wreck we had there.
And you can see Matt Johnson coming up on this wreck. And, yeah, he gets into the back of him. A lot of damage there on the front. And you know just as well as I do, Corey, when you get damage on the front, you're not so much worried about the damage on the front as you are the engine itself.
Yeah, iRacing's really kind of finicky about this. I mean, you take a hard hit to the door sometimes, it says you're leaking fluid. You take a hard hit to the front, it says it. I mean, there are special spots in this car. If you hit them hard enough, your car is pretty much a paperweight. And so the guys do whatever they can to avoid making any contact because of the way the damage model works in this.
Well, coming down into pit road, so Matt Johnson going to take that fast repair, and he's going to need to if he wants to stay in this championship contest here. So he's going to dive in. He's going to get that thing fixed. But Dean Brummett still leading this race.
Yeah, and it looks like Joe Ruggles kind of got he blinked out and blinked back in. But it looks like Joe Ruggles also got sucked up into that race right there. So, I mean, I'm counting at least 4 guys that took damage from that incident that just happened.
Well, that's kind of how it works, and we'll go back one more time here and take a look at that Joe Ruggles part of it. Here he is in the number 96, coming up on the accident, and he goes to the inside. Looks like he gets into the 83, and so that's Chris Massey from Bronco Motorsports, so he gets up in there. And then I want to say is that Brad Herman that kind of swerved around him? I think it is. It's either Brad Herman or Greg Olnick. I can't see the number from here. But yeah, Joe Ruggles kind of gets involved in that one.
Yes, I mean that's another wreck that sucked in a lot of the drivers. So it's going to help these guys take this. It's going to let this fuel go a little further too, because these yellow flag pace laps are definitely a lot better on these cars than these wide open throttle laps.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about that fuel window. And so, yeah, anytime we have pace laps like this, definitely that fuel stretches a little bit further. And they're going to need that stretching because they might want that for green, white, checker finishes.
Yeah, I think that caution just coming out probably brought that window to the 37 to 40 lap gap is what I would guess if the guys play this properly. And then with the right engine clutch configuration, they may be able to get a little further. But I'm thinking these guys can probably do it with one more pit stop if they absolutely had to. But we got to have some clean restarts in order to make that happen.
Well, out there in the chat right now, B Squared, I'm assuming that's Brandon Browning. But he said, had a lot going on. Hate that I missed this broadcast. But to my guys, Brill, Brummett, and Baudler, the triple Bs, good luck. And Brandon Browning, a good friend to pretty much everybody in this league. We appreciate him. I know he's a great broadcast partner of mine as well. Just couldn't make it tonight, but we appreciate Corey filling in for us.
Yeah, Brandon has done a great job all season doing the broadcasting. I mean, we're glad to have him.
And so we are to the 1 to go signal. So the pace car's lights are out. So we're going to come around turns 3 and 4 here and get right back to it. Dean Brummett has led every lap so far.
Yeah, and Bobby kind of went to the outside. He dropped that 2 position. So now I think Dean and Jake Rowell actually have a better shot on the restart than Bobby, because I mean it's hard if the guy on the inside gets a good jump. It's hard for the guy on the outside to catch up to him if 1 and 3 are tucked in like they need to be. So Bobby is either going to have to drop down real quick or hope that David Duke and Zimmerman can give him a good push.
Yeah, and Jake Rowell, a former teammate of Dean Brummett, right behind Jake. Another former teammate of both of Jake Rowell is Jacob Smith there. So we've got 3 former Striker Motorsports.
And we just had a pretty interesting incident right off the back, because somebody just brake checked in about 7th or 8th and just pushed 4 or 5 guys back. So the admin, I'm sure, is about to have to clear some black flags, because there was definitely a cluster on this restart on the inside line.
Well, Dean Brummett still gets a good start, and he gets moving. And once again, the biggest mover, actually the biggest mover right now is Jake Rowell out there on the track. It looks like he took 2 tires on that first pit stop, so he got some track position. But the next biggest mover is Daniel Baudler, all the way up to 9th now.
Yeah, Jake Rowell, I guess, didn't come to play. Jake Rowell decided that he wants to close that gap and make a race out of it.
And again, he and Dean, very, very good friends, but Jake would love nothing more than to win this race.
Oh, there's no friends in racing, my man. There are no friends. They may be cool on this track, but when it comes down to the finish, it's going to be every man for himself, I promise.
And so out there in the chat, Justin Boyles, hey, is that Corey Knight in the booth? He sounds like a natural. Yep, it is Corey Knight, and he is a natural. Corey, I don't think I've ever seen Corey do something bad.
Well, I can think of plenty of things I do horribly. We'll leave that for another conversation.
Dean Brummett still holding that lead. The top 3 now have been in Striker Motorsports at one point or another, and so a lot of good friends up there trying to push their buddy to the win.
Well, it's crazy because earlier we had 1 second between 1 and 2, and the rest of the field was about 2 seconds back. Right now, the entire top 7 is within a second of each other. So I don't know what has happened in the meantime, but these guys are making this a race up front finally.
And then back there in 4th position, that's David Duke from Team SRN. Once again, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Fantastic racer, just a lot of bad luck this year. But he's one of those great racers out there on the track, as well as he was a pit crew chief back in the Busch Series.
Yeah, and it looks like his teammate Danny, I don't know if that pit stop I talked about earlier cost him that many spots, but Danny's all the way back to 17th, who was kind of the helper that Duke needed to make this big run if he wanted to take this win. So he's going to have to rely on somebody like Brill or somebody like Smith to get with him and give him that push, because none of these guys will be able to catch the leader by themselves. They're going to have to work with somebody, and I would really expect Brill to kind of help him move his way towards the front.
And you can see the track map up there on your top right. You can see the 4 drivers for the playoffs there at the very front. That number 62 way back there, that's Matthew Johnson. He was involved in that accident just a few laps ago. So he's got a lot of work to do. But right now our playoff drivers are sitting 1st place, 4th place, 8th place, and 9th place.
Yeah, and this lead pack is making some really, really good racing. These guys up front, you still got the top 6 within a second of each other. And I mean, a second may seem like a good little bit, but in this racing, that second, a lot can happen. Like, there can be a lot of shakers and movers within that second. And it looks like Zimmerman just dropped all the way back right in front of Daniel Baudler, who's making that big push like you were saying a second ago. So I would expect Baudler to be up here in the next couple of laps, probably in the top 5 to top 6.
And there's your race right there for the 8th position between Zimmerman and Baudler. And so Baudler not going to go quietly. He's going to dip down to the inside here a little bit, try to make a little bit of a run.
I think he will.
There he goes.
Yeah, Zimmerman likes that outside line. I think he will. The only thing he has to worry about, though, is watch traffic and watch everybody else, because Brandon Key likes running this lower line. So Brandon's going to have to either make a move on Key or hope Key gives him some space. And being that close to the front of the pack, I don't think Key's going to give him the space. He's going to have to take it.
Let's go back up and check in on Bobby Brill here. So Bobby right on the tail of Jacob Smith, trying to get that third position away. He's going to go down to the inside. He's got the position on it.
Yeah, and Bobby, like I said, this is not what he does. Bobby is more of the guy who likes hanging out and kind of conserving tires. So I don't know if he's still able to conserve tires doing what he's doing, because he's about to have to fight essentially through 3 Striker Motorsports guys to take this W. And I'm not saying these guys are going to try to block Bobby Brill, but the chance of you passing 2 of my teammates to beat me is highly unexpected.
Yeah, it's a tough ask to do no matter what. Jacob Smith also going for that secondary championship as well. So he is definitely not going to hold back at all. He wants this first place as well so he can get that secondary money.
Yeah, and Bobby, I don't know what Bobby's going to do here. I mean, Bobby can drop down and try to make a route, but the way Jake Rowell and Smith are splitting up in these corners, they're basically one's blocking the bottom, one's blocking the top. So he's going to have to pick them off one by one if he actually wants to make a push. And he's got a really good run on the outside. He may be able to take it on the outside.
And, well, there he goes. And let's see if he can just get a tire up there to do it. Oh, no, Bobby into the wall.
Yep.
And so up front, though, Dean Brummett has opened up a nice little 1-second lead over everybody. So he's starting to make some headway there. Matthew Johnson way behind right now. Not sure what happened with Matthew, but he is about to go a lap down if he doesn't pick up the pace here.
Yeah, let me see what he's doing back there, too.
I'm wondering if he got into the wall.
He had to, or he could have just had to actually do a real pit stop.
I'm showing he pitted on lap 13 his last time around. Not sure. Maybe he got a penalty that he had to come down.
Yeah, it could have been, or he could have already burned his fast repairs, or could be saving a fast repair. Actually took the real.
You can see a little bit of damage on the back of Jake Rowell there. So definitely some hard racing going on. And you got David Duke going down to the inside of Bobby Brill here. So that's basically going to trap Bobby Brill in that position. David making a hard move there to take that 4th position. Now he's going to go to the inside of Jake Rowell and go for 3rd.
And this is where it's going to get dicey, my friend. These guys get this close, and these guys run all these different lines. Somebody's going to lose somebody in this shuffle.
Well, and look who's right there with him, Daniel Baudler in the 6 car, right there with him. So there, he's going to go down to the inside. He is going to take that 5th position away.
And he's in the top 5 within a couple laps.
That is absolutely insane. He started off in the 19th position. Now he is up battling for 5th place already after only 25 laps.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's crazy to see that.
So once again, still Dean Brummett about 1.5 seconds ahead of everybody. So this is the better racing back here. But Daniel Baudler, oh, wow. Bobby Brill way high. We go 3 wide. Jake Rowell in the middle. Baudler down low. And Baudler's going to make that pass. And so now Baudler all the way up into 4th position with that move.
Yeah, and that's to me, that's probably one of the best things that could happen to these guys up front is kind of breaking the Striker Motorsports group away from each other. With David Duke and Baudler, if those 2 guys can lock up, if I was Baudler, I would do anything I could do right now to talk David Duke into working with me and get me up in that 2nd position close to Dean Brummett, because they're about 1.5 seconds back, but he needs those guys to get him up there.
Well, he is on the tail of Jacob Smith right now. Jacob Smith going for 2 different things, going for the do-gooder award, so the clean driver award. So he can't do any accidents right here. He that would really hurt his chances for that. But also going for that secondary championship. So he's going to try to race Daniel cleanly here, but definitely he's not going to give Daniel an inch.
No, but look at the way he's holding his line. I would put my money that Smith's tires are almost gone, because if you look at how loose he's going into these corners, I think he's having a really hard time holding that bottom line. And right now, this is shaping out to be not a good corner for any of the 3 of these guys. And they made it. Herman back there giving Baudler a little push, and those 2 are now in the top 4 with Baudler and Herman. So I mean, it's getting good, but I mean they're gaining no ground on Dean Brummett, which is the problem right now.
Yeah, Brad Herman, a winner a couple of weeks ago, so a fantastic racer in his own right here. Checking it back up front here, so David Duke still a second and a half ahead or behind Dean Brummett. So Dean just relaxing up front right now while all this racing is going on behind him.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like he's doing anything crazy. Looks like Dean's getting ready to come up in lap traffic. He's probably about 4 or 5 seconds behind some lap traffic up there. I can't tell who that is. But that can also make this a dicey race if these guys get into some lap traffic. But I'm really, really surprised I'm not hearing more guys over general race chatter trying to work together and trying to make some packs and try to catch up to Dean, because it's just, like I said, he's in a race all by his own. He's doing Sunday strolls right now is all he's doing.
Well, I'll tell you exactly who that is 4 or 5 seconds in front of him. That is Matthew Johnson, so one of our playoff drivers. And so Matthew's got to be super careful about that. I'm still not sure exactly what happened to him. He may have had to come back down pit road for a penalty. Not sure. We didn't get that call from admin.
Yeah, I haven't heard it over the Discord. And David Duke has cut his lead down to 1.25 seconds behind Dean Brummett. But he's also increased his distance between him and Baudler. So Dukes looks like he's going for number 1 by himself right now, just trying to make a push.
Well, and Brad Herman still pushing on Daniel Baudler there. So that is who you want to be pushing you, is Brad Herman.
Yeah, and I don't know. If I was Brad, I'd be on the bike right now trying to tell Baudler, hey, man, I know you're trying to drop down low and shave some time, but you've got to stay on the track or tell me what you're doing so we can work together. I think Brad's kind of just guessing of what Daniel's going to do, and he's trying his best to push him. You can tell by the way these guys are locking up that he's trying to push him, and it's just, I think there's just no communication there.
Well, while that's going on, you got Bobby Brill back here. So back in 7th position, getting passed by Brandon Key on the inside. Brandon, a great driver for Rev Racing.
Yeah, and Bobby back in 7th, to me, if I was just tuning in, I would think he's doing his tire strategy he normally does, because usually he hangs out around 7th to 12th, somewhere in that little 5-person bubble. And as this race goes on, he starts picking up a couple seconds on everybody, and then before you know it, he's up front with a big lead. It's just I don't see that strategy working right now for him to get all the way up to Dean, even though David Duke has cut the lead down to 1.2. I mean, I don't see it. I don't know where Bobby's at. I don't know where the rest of these guys are at either. I mean, it's Dean Brummett's race right now.
Well, don't look too closely here, but or don't look too soon. But you got Daniel Baudler still up in 3rd place, still getting pushed by Brad Herman. So they have cut down the lead from David Duke a little bit. And so if those 3 cars can get together, they may be able to track down Dean Brummett.
And it's bad news for Dean. I promise you, the steam that's going to come when those 3 cars get together, there's no way Dean is going to be able to stop the amount of speed those 3 cars bring past him. Like, Dean, it will drop almost from 1st to 4th almost instantly, I promise you, because there's no way he's going to be able to stop those 3 cars.
You can see Matt Johnson coming into your picture, then Dean Brummett, and then everybody else. But looking in once again, so Bobby Brill trying to force the issue here on Brandon Key. But he's basically being blocked there by Brandon Key and Jacob Smith. So he's going to have to make a move here, and he's considering 3 wide.
Yeah, he's a good enough driver. He can do 3 wide, but I really think Bobby, if I had to take a guess, would just hang out back there and just try to push one of those guys on the guy on the inside. He'd probably try to push him and get a good run and then drop up to the top and then go around, because it's hard to battle 2 guys that are truly running door to door.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time out there, and he's got plenty of experience in this case as well. So he's going to be just fine. It looks like they finally get around Jacob Smith there, so everybody can kind of get single file one more time.
Yeah, and I got everybody pitting last around lap 9.
Looks like yellow flag. Looks like we had De Silva, Ruggles, a few others.
And looks like I was about to say that everybody pitted lap 9, and I was thinking we had about 10 laps before everybody started jumping in. So this happened perfectly for everybody.
Yeah, it looks like Brian O'Shell and Derek De Silva back there. Looked like a little bit of extracurricular right after as well.
Yeah, I really don't understand what, like, they got into an incident a few laps ago where O'Shell felt that De Silva kind of sent him up into the wall, and he didn't like it. He got over Discord and was kind of mouthing with him, but looks like they're kind of getting each other a little payback here after this caution. So I'm not quite sure if that'll be the end of it, if you're going to see these two keep going at it.
Well, let's go back and take a look, see what we can see here. So, and it is just these two. And as they're coming around, you can see them come into your screen. O'Shell down on the inside. And yeah, they just kind of come together. They tap a little bit, and then O'Shell just keeps on driving, keeps his foot in there, and kind of gets into Derek DeSilva. Derek DeSilva back up into O'Shell after that. Looks like a few others were collected. Joe Ruggles. Not sure who that other one was that came into play.
Yeah, I couldn't get a good look of it either. But yeah, those two, hopefully that'll be the end of this feud between O'Shell and DeSilva. Because I mean, he collected a couple other guys. It's one thing to get even with somebody. If you take somebody else out there, I mean, that's a little childish. So hopefully they finished it now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who that other one was that got involved there, but going back live, we got everybody back in the pits once again. So fresh fuel, fresh tires. I don't think anybody can make it the distance right now, Corey.
No, but and it looks like everybody's taking 4 tires. I'm sitting here watching the pit. It looks like everybody's taking 4 tires, and Bobby Brill is going to drop down to around 8th, and Daniel Baudler is going to drop to 3rd with that pitting, and Jake Rowell still has damage on the back of his car. So, some interesting things just happened out of this pit sequence. Not quite sure what. And then Adam Pettit's back inside the top 10, but he's in 9th. So, I mean, I usually expect Adam to be closer to the front of the pack. I don't know if he's racing conservatively or if he's I don't know what he's doing. He may be trying to make a late push, but usually Adam's in the top 5 almost every week religiously. So we'll see what happens.
Well, just so many good drivers in this league. And so Dean Brummett, again, leading every single lap so far. David Duke, a fantastic driver. There's nobody in this top 15 that I wouldn't want on my team.
No, for sure. I would definitely expect everybody in this league to be on any team of mine. I mean, it's just one of those things. Most of these guys, I mean, they're good, they're respectable, they can race. Everything you would want a teammate, these guys tend to have. We don't have any like hotheads or anything like that in the league, even though you did just see the O'Shell DeSilva incident. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a hot-headed incident. That was just 2 guys kind of checking the other one. So I don't see that too often. Yeah,
we don't really have too many major incidents in this league, which is fantastic. You see some other leagues where there are huge rivalries that really bring it out on the track and ruin everybody's nights. But, stuff happens in this league. Obviously, we said that a little bit earlier. But then after a little bit of payback and all that stuff, we all sing Kumbaya afterwards.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I really like the good guys and the bad guys. I love rivalries. I've tried all season to antagonize somebody to rival with me, but when you're in the back of the pack, you don't really get that kind of fun. So hopefully these guys up front can make a rivalry for next season. I'd love to see some stuff.
Well, one guy that really needed that caution was Matthew Johnson. He came in, got his pits and stuff like that, and he is going to be right back towards the back of the pack, but at least he's not getting lapped.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what I was saying in the pre-race, how he has this yo-yo racing where he was in the very back, and I really would not put it past him to make a push up towards the kind of the middle to front of the pack. I mean, I could see it. Like, I could totally see it.
Well, now we got Daniel Baudler right there behind Dean Brummett on the inside. So if Daniel can get a good little restart here alongside Dean, then we might have a new race.
Yeah, and just keep an eye out. Looks like O'Shell said he's about to have to drop in a pit, so he may have just gotten a penalty. And on the restart, Jake Rowell just had a huge jump. He just jumped from from 5th to 2nd.
Yeah, that was a massive jump, and admin will probably take a look at it, but I didn't see anything too wrong there. I think Dean had already gotten started.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon Key was up there, and he just came flying by Brandon Key and David Duke, which I still think this could be the best for the guys up front, because it looks like Brandon Key, Duke, and Baudler are all with each other right now, getting ready to make a good push. So this could actually be the best for that entire situation right now.
Well, oh, wow, Jake Rowell hard into the wall there, and that's what happens when you kind of take a little bit too much speed in there, and that's going to allow Dean Brummett to get that lead a little bit further out. Daniel Baudler is going to pass Jake on the inside.
Yeah, and he did that kind of sailing thing I was telling you. You get in the wrong groove with too much speed, and there is nothing you can do to come back. Like it's dirty. Like I mean, there's nothing else you can do about it.
Well, and a lot of people will tell you that speed is the most important thing. It's not. And iRacing has taught us this. Real NASCAR has taught us this. Speed is not the most important thing. Consistency is the most important thing.
Yeah, and on this, that's one thing that the guys have got to learn. On this, it's more about carrying as much speed as you can.
Oh, Jake Rowell!
Into your marks.
Oh, Jake had too many incidents, I believe. He has to come down for a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, it looks like he had to dive in right there, and he is going down the pit road. Jake Rowell is going in, looks like. No, he's going in for a pit stop. Jake Rowell is going to his box. Something is wrong. I don't know if he's getting tires, fuel, what it is, but he actually just went into his box. So I have no idea what happened there. I'm clueless, Sean.
Not really sure. If he went into his box, that's not a drive-through, so I'm not sure.
I think it was a fast repair. I think it was a fast repair because he went in there pretty quick and pulled out really quick, and I think he actually went in there for a fast repair is what he went in there for.
Really interesting happenings there. So Dean Brummett still up in the lead, about a half-second lead on Daniel Baudler, and they're starting to pull away from the pack.
And I will tell you this right now. Out of everybody in this race, if I was in first and had a guy in second with a full head of steam and I did not want them there, it would be Daniel Baudler because this guy will burn all 4 of his tires to get a good shot at your back bumper. He is about to give Dean all the hell he can right now, I promise you.
So out in the chat right now, Travis Trevelyan, who is in the chat with Jake Rowell, said that Jake jumped the start. He has a 26-second hold that he has to do as a penalty.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I guess the admin went back and looked at it and gave him a penalty for it.
Well, and so he was only in the pit box for about 2 seconds. And so in this league, you can protest the black flag. And by protesting a black flag, basically you say, take the black flag away, take a look at it after the race. You know, and if they are wrong for taking away that black flag, then that driver gets disqualified. And so it's a risk, but at the same time, that keeps Jake Rowell on the track.
Yes, and I mean, we'll see kind of what plays out about it. I don't know the exact situation because he did do a stop and go. It didn't seem like a 26 seconds, so we'll see afterwards kind of what happened. But I mean, it's just part of racing. I mean, if he ends up serving and ends up getting whatever for it, I mean, he knew it when he did it, so we'll see.
All right, so Dean Brummett still leading. Daniel Baudler still in second. Let's check up on the other 3. Bobby Brill in 5th position, still trying to make his way forward, but definitely looking a little bit better than he was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he's actually looking really good right now, and there's a lot of guys that, I mean, aren't looking bad on the track. It's just these guys aren't doing what they need to do to make this push on Dean. I mean, I keep saying it. The guys that are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th seem like they're kind of getting together and trying to make something happen. But Dean is just doing so much with this clean air. Like he's taking full advantage of it.
And then we got Devin Zimmerman back here in 10th position, and this is classic Devin Zimmerman, where he's in the top 10, but he's there about 8th to 10th place, and then all of a sudden he passes you for 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, and I mean he.
And then let's go back a little bit further. I know Corey's listening to the radio right now to try to hear what the drivers are saying. Back a little bit further, we got Matt Johnson. Got that fast repair. Now he's back out on the track. He is in 15th position. So now he can start moving through this pack, picking off people one by one. But up front, Dean Brummett still leads, and he has led every single lap so far. And that's the kind of domination that we've been expecting to see from Dean all season long.
Yeah, Dean. I mean, Dean's been rocking and rolling this whole time, and I mean, the only thing these guys can do is if we get another yellow, would be for whoever's in 2nd and 3rd to just get together and stay on each other's bumper. That way they can try to keep up with Dean, because nobody's going to be able to catch Dean if he keeps breaking off these big leads. I mean, Baudler's doing a great job. He's cut down to 0.4 seconds, but there's no telling how much tires he's wearing to do it.
once again, we've already said these guys are going to have to pit at least one more time. And so there's no reason to really hold back right now because you'll be inside that pit window. Oh, we got somebody in the wall just a little bit back there. I want to say that's probably Brad Herman that got into the wall just a little bit there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of blinking going on kind of towards the back. Like, as I'm going through the field, I'm seeing a lot of guys keep kind of blipping out and blipping back in. I don't know if it's connection issues all across the board, if it's an iRacing issue, what it is, but there's definitely been a lot of guys talking about connection issues.
And I apologize, that was not Brad Herman. That was actually Brandon Key that got into the wall a little bit. So Brandon Key has a little bit of damage there. Looking back through a little bit further here, we got some good racing right back in the back. Derek Da Silva and Jay Graves. Jay Graves making that pass there. So Jay Graves, fantastic driver, very clean driver. We appreciate him being in this league. Part of that Jam Racing team that has a shot to move up next season.
Yeah, for sure. And I keep going back to what's going on at the front of the pack. Like, Daniel cut it down to 0.4 seconds. It's now back up to a half a second. It gets to like a sixth of a second or 0.6 seconds. So Daniel's really having a hard time reeling Brill in, or reading Brummett in.
Well, talking about Brill here, so Brill on the inside of David Duke going for that third position. And if that happens, then our top three will all be championship drivers.
If Duke and Brill can get together and those guys somehow catch up to Baudler, that right there would be a freight train from hell coming up on Dean Brummett, I promise you. Because those three guys are just going to go pedal to the metal and try to make something happen in the front of this pack, and I would love to see it play out. And they're definitely the three that can get together right now.
Well, we're still keeping an eye on this third-place battle here because it is still a battle. Up front, still Dean Brummett way ahead, Daniel Baudler way ahead of this group as well. So, and it looks like David Duke kind of backed off just a little bit there. Out there in the chat, Travis Trevelyan says Dean has led over half the race. Yes, he has. He led it all 48 of the last 48 laps, which is definitely more than half the race and is actually 100% of the race so far.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job at holding that pole position for sure.
And that is exactly what he expected to do. That's what he wanted to do all week long, was get in there, hold the pole position, and just take off. But we still have pit stops coming up here in about another 10 to 15 laps probably. So
yeah, it looks like they pitted at, 34 or 35 is what I have jotted down.
Correct.
So, they're definitely coming up. They've got about 14 laps on these tires, 14, 15 laps. So in the next, I'd say 5 to 10 laps, the guys are going to kind of go in early for a they're going to go in early trying to get an advantage on the rest of the field. So if it stays green, ideally the guys that go in early on should have a better advantage going towards the end of this race. So it's going to be a real big gamble here to see what happens.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun part about this race. And that's why I love Auto Club Speedway so much, is because it's so big that you just have so much room to maneuver that you get a lot of good green flag racing.
Yeah, and if we had a bigger pack tonight, like if we had the full field of 40 guys like we normally have, this would be a sight to see, I promise. Like, it would be ridiculous. It'd be door to door. But right now, it looks like with the 20-something guys we had show up, a lot of these guys are just getting in a kind of like single file line and just trying to make the big a push they can on each other. But I mean, nobody's really making any impact on Dean right now.
And you can see there in the bottom right the time differences here. So Dean Brummett, Daniel Baudler about a second apart, and then Baudler and Brill about 0.8 of a second apart. And so definitely some distance there, but these top three guys are kind of three of the top five guys that we expected to see up here the entire night.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because the top 4 or 5 positions, those guys have gotten further away from each other, but the rest of the pack has kind of stayed in a tight little group. Because I mean, at one time we had Daniel only half a second back, the next guy was half a second back from him, and the guys were really tight. But it looks like those guys burned up a lot of tires, or they're trying to save their tires to try to catch up to Dean. But I don't think Dean is too worried right now. I mean, he's hitting all of his marks. It looks like he hasn't made any mistakes so far. I mean, he's carrying a ton of speed into these corners, and I mean, judging by what I'm seeing with his car, he's not even hitting the gas until the second the second part of the corners. I mean, he's not burning anything in the front.
And Dean Brummett, another one of those drivers that had a couple votes for the Man's Best Friend Award, and so he doesn't have a single enemy in the entire league. He's very quiet on the track. He just goes out there, drives, gets the job done, goes home, and that's really people respect that. People respect that you don't cause any trouble. Of course, one of the cleanest drivers in the league, one of the fastest drivers, obviously. Here you see it. So just a really class guy, a really great driver at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, he does everything right. I mean, the guy puts in his practice, as you can see by his qualifying. The guy goes out there. I never hear him mouthing with anybody before or after a race. I mean, he's the first to congratulate the winners. I mean, he's a really good guy. I mean, he's definitely a class act out here on this racetrack.
And you just saw Adam Pettit coming into the pits. So he and Brandon Key, the first two, and they are teammates, but they're the first two coming down into the pits, possibly for the last time this season.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I thought was about to happen. We're at lap 53. If these guys go in, they take 4 tires, take a full tank of gas, go out there, they can probably make the full race plus the green-white checkers if we have to have them. It really just depends on what they do towards the end. And with those being the first two, I would expect some more guys to follow suit if they actually realize what's going on, which I haven't heard any chatter.
Yep, Danny Setzer coming in as well.
Yeah, and Setzer's another guy who has, I mean, I'm not going to say improved drastically because he wasn't bad to start with, but he has definitely proven himself the second half of this season. He's been doing great.
Well, while we have a brief moment here to do this, let's check out our Brookstone Animal Hospital mole hole cams. See what the moles are seeing.
The cars, they go so fast. And you can see how quickly these half a seconds and seconds just close by. On the other views, it doesn't seem nearly as fast. When you're sitting in the middle of the track, you see how fast these cars are going. So, I mean, it's split-second decisions these guys are making.
And after all those decisions, one bad decision is all it takes to really ruin your night.
Yeah, I just heard Bobby Brill go over Discord or go over the race chat saying, my bad. So I don't know if he... Looks like he got into the back bumper of Daniel Baudler. And I don't know if that spun Baudler out or what, but he definitely just went over. Yeah, Baudler fell all the way down to what looks like. I can't see his position, but Baudler definitely lost some positions.
Yeah, we did not get that on camera, so I apologize for that. But we will take a look and see what Baudler looks like here. I don't see too terribly much damage, just probably got out of shape a little bit.
Yeah, I think Bobby got into the back left quarter of Baudler, sent him up into the wall, and all it did is blow this lead up for Dean Brummett. He's now up to a 2-second lead over second, and looks like guys are going in for pit stops now. Looks like Duke's been in, Pettit's went in, Keys went in, Setzer's went in, O'Shell, Ruggles, all of them have went in. So.
And now that is Adam Pettit going to the outside there. He is on fresh tires. He is a lap down, so that is not for position. But Daniel Baudler still up in third position, but definitely getting some heat from Brad Herman and Danny Dow.
If I was anybody in this race right now, I would be hoping that somehow this lap traffic gets in front of Dean Brummett and slows him up, because his lead is so big right now. I would be praying if I was Brill, Baudler, Herman, Dow, even Smith, I would hope this lap traffic somehow doesn't wreck Dean Brummett, but gets in his way and gives him a hell of a speed bump.
Well, it's not going to be Jake Roel. Jake Roel, like I said, a former teammate, good friend of Dean Brummett's. He is not going to hold up Dean very, very much at all, I don't believe. Right behind Dean, we got Bobby Brill. Then you got Daniel Baudler. So the top three are going for the championship. Also, back here in seventh, that's Devin Zimmerman. He is going for the championship as well as Matthew Johnson, who's back here in 10th, but he has battled back. He was back in 24th there for a long time.
Yeah, we got 12 guys on the lead lap from what I can see right now, and so we're going to steadily see guys start to drop off. I haven't heard anybody go over race chatter saying they're getting ready to pit in, but a lot of guys haven't been. They've just been telling their teammates they're going in. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. It looks like Dean's going to go ahead and take another one. I think Dean's going to take the long play on this. I think he's going to stay out there as long as possible, hoping for a yellow.
Yeah, those guys passing Dean right there, those are not for position. They are getting their laps back after pitting. Daniel Baudler into the pits.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of shocked to see Baudler go into the pits. I was thinking that Baudler was going to do whatever Dean did. It's kind of what I was thinking the strategy was going to be, but I think that's going to be the strategy Brill's going to take. I think Brill is going to wait for Dean to go in, and then he's going to go in. And Danny Dow just said he's about to go into the pit, so expect 21 to drop in for sure, too. And 15. 15 also just went over to race chat saying he's getting ready to drop in. So, and so's Dean. Dean's going in, Danny's going in, and looks like Smith are going in for sure to take pit stops.
And Bobby Brill just fell backwards to 11th position. I'm not sure what happened there. I think he may have glitched out on us. I'm not sure what happened there, but oh, there he is. Yeah, he's back on the track now. So, yeah, he had glitched out there for a long time, but Bobby Brill up in the lead right now. Devin Zimmerman in second. So Devin staying out a little bit longer as well. Going back to what you were saying with Daniel Baudler, I think that was a good strategy for him. I think he needed to take that strategy because he was so far back from Dean and Bobby already because of that little bit of an incident that's all he could do. You know, he's got to take a swing for the fence.
Yeah, and it's going to play out because Baudler's back on the track. He's right behind Brill. Brill's a couple laps from going in for a pit stop unless a caution flies. And a caution right now would be the absolute worst thing that ever happened to Dean Brummett, I promise you. If a caution comes out right now, it will be like throwing a spoon into a blender. It will be an absolute disaster. These guys that have pitted early need this to go green as long as possible.
So let's take a look and see where Dean Brummett is. He is still on the lead lap, though, so that is the good news. So he's still on the lead lap. He has fresh tires, so now it's just a matter of when does Bobby Brill come in, when does Devin Zimmerman come in, there's Bobby Brill right there.
Bobby Brill's going in now, and it looks like he's slowing down so he doesn't get the speeding penalty. He just made it in.
Zimmerman as well, Lepicki, and then the only person that has not pitted that is in the playoffs still, Matthew Johnson. And so he is taking a real shot here. If there's a caution right now, Matt Johnson is going to be looking pretty.
Yeah, Matt Johnson, Greg Olnick, and Jonathan Byer are the three guys that have yet to do a pit. It looks like Taylor Smith has not either. Those guys are the four guys that did not pit on this cycle so far. And Bobby Brill actually just missed his pit box. So I think Bobby Brill just made a very costly mistake. He still has not started. He just now got to his pit and got everything restarted. So Bobby just lost a ton of time in the pits.
And so Dean Brummett, if all this thing cycles out the way we think it will, Dean Brummett will re-inherit the lead. He's up in 8th position right now. You know what? He's going to have to track down Adam Pettit. Looks like we might have had a little bit of stuff going on in towards the back, but yeah, oh yeah, they're out in the middle of the grass here. Still green flag. Oh, and Byer gets out there on the track where he's not supposed to be, and so the yellow flag does fly now. Uh-oh, that changes things.
That is the worst thing that could have happened for a lot of these drivers. But I think with all the leaders getting ready to go in, I think they should get waiver rounds. A majority of these guys should because of the pit strategy they've used. But I completely missed what just happened with Byer. I was watching what happened with Brill in the pits. He actually lost 3 seconds and 3 positions to the guys that he went into the pits with before that yellow came out.
And so here comes Byer. And it looks like, oh yeah, that's Jonathan Byer there as well as the 84 of Greg Olnick. And they get into each other and they go flipping through the grass. So huge wreck between those two. Now, it wouldn't have gone yellow at all, but when Byer came back out onto the track, he slipped a little bit, got in the middle of the track, and that's what caused the caution.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things that when he came out there, he kind of just lost control of his car. He never really gained it back either. So, I mean, it happens. Like, it's just one of those things that it's hard to get your car out of that grass safely.
All right, so now we got to get back live, and we're going to check out what Matthew Johnson decides to do. He's going to have to come into the pits, and so is Taylor Smith, Mike Lewis, Greg Olnick, Jonathan Byer. So top 5 will come into the pits. The rest of these guys just pitted. Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see how iRacing lets these guys dice this out. From what I understand, if the leaders go in, everybody who doesn't go in should get a waiver round. but we're gonna see what happens here and see who stays out and see what it lets the rest of the field do.
Well, and it looks like Dean Brummett, and Dean Brummett's coming down again as well. So is Daniel Baudler. So everybody coming in to get brand new tires and fuel. If I'm Dean Brummett, I might have stayed out there.
Yeah, the guy's led this whole race, so I'm not going to second guess anything he's doing. But I don't understand it. They know a lot more about what iRacing does than I do. I've only been doing this for a little bit, so I don't know the kind of the quirks of iRacing. But that they may know, and they may be able to get some laps back or something. They may all be on the lead lap now. I have no idea.
I'm wondering if he's going to go right side only.
Nope. It looks like he's doing a full because everybody's beating him off pit road. So, I mean, it looks like he lost about 6 positions leaving pit road right there. So, we'll see. But, the guys ran so fast, I don't see him having a hard time getting back up to the front of this pack.
So up front now, we've got Devin Zimmerman leading this race alongside teammate Mike Lepicki. And so, huge turn of events. Looked like Zimmerman just went in on lap 61. So he's decided to stay out. So did Bobby Brill. So Bobby Brill stayed out as well. So now you got first place, third place, and fifth place are our playoff drivers. And the two guys that have really dominated a lot of this race, Dean Brummett and Daniel Baudler, are going to restart in 10th and 14th.
Yeah, we're
so out there in the chat right now. Justin Boyle's fantastic racer in his own right, and we absolutely love Justin. Auto Club is tough on tires. 5-lap fresher tires can make up the loss of track position, and so Justin's one of those guys that he is such an incredible driver. I 100% believe what he's saying there. Where 5 laps difference here at Auto Club. Yeah, that could be everything. So we're going to get some interesting racing here, Corey.
If Justin Boyle said it, I believe it. Like, it's one of those things. I totally believe it.
Oh, and Baudler got a black flag for speeding in the pits, is what I'm told.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. That's Travis Trevelyan out there in the chat saying that Baudler got speeding in the pits. I'm not 100% solid on that, but that's what I'm hearing from the chat. And so here we go, coming down the backstretch. And Justin Boyle says he's also the fuel man. And so, yeah, man, Justin knows everything there is to know about iRacing. If you want to join Justin, he is going to be driving in the S-Rock series with us next season. That's going to be on Friday nights. Going to be a $500 first place, so $10 entry fee per race on that. But it is going to be a lot of fun. That series is as close to NASCAR racing as you're going to get here on iRacing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of confusion. A lot of guys went into the pit or didn't go into the pit thinking they were getting wave rounds and whatnot. So there's a lot of confusion going on right now in race chatter as far as who was supposed to get wave rounds, who's not. And so we're about to see how this shakes out. It's about to be very interesting.
All right, Devin Zimmerman getting the restart here. And he has not won a race at all this season, but he is leading this one right now, and he takes off. And Mike Lepicki is going to jump down right behind him there. Bobby Brill going way down to the inside.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got squeezed down low or what happened. That's very uncharacteristic for Bobby Brill to go down that low.
But Bobby challenging for the lead.
Yeah, I think Lepicki had a really slow respot, and Bobby was afraid to lose his spot, so Bobby just stayed on it.
Lot of clustering up back there.
That's definitely...
See it. 3 wide, and that's Matt Johnson in the 62. Oh, no. Beyer got down. It looked like he got down into Lepicki, but everybody's still safe. Still 3 wide, 4 wide in some spots.
Yeah, and the guys who are 4 wide are the guys you want to be 4 wide. Most of these guys are really good wheelmen watching it happen, and it looks like it's getting really good towards the middle. Beyer's kind of all over the place. We had a couple guys that just blinked out. Jake Rowell just blinked out and came right back in.
But back up front, Devin Zimmerman takes the lead.
Yeah, David Duke just, I'm not going to say got blocked, but it came into Lepicki with a whole lot of speed and had to brake check Jake Rowell. So those two are back there trying not to run each other over.
This race has started to pick up here with 13 laps to go. Bobby Brill going down to the inside, trying to get that lead back. And he's going to get a nose on Zimmerman, but Zimmerman's going to get that run on the outside.
There's a wreck. Lepicki just went sideways, looks like off a Duke. And we've got, it does not look like they're throwing a flag, but Lipicki is for sure in the grass.
Yep, he is there in the pit lane right now, but still green flag. So we will see if all this stuff happens where Lipicki gets back on the track. It looks like he's going to go down pit road. So still green, Bobby Brill up front.
Yep, and then Dean Brummett is actually he's in 6th place right now. He's making his normal push, running the same line he was running a second ago, but he doesn't have fresh air. Now he's trying to fight through traffic. So we're going to see if Duke's going to let him by, see what the rest of these guys do.
Now all these guys are on the same tire strategy now. So David Duke, oh no, that's Baudler. Baudler into the infield.
Yeah, I completely missed that also, Sean. I did not see what just happened with Baudler.
Oh, we'll have to go back and check that out, but still green flag, so he is way behind. Not sure why there was not a yellow flag thrown there by iRacing, but there was not. So Bobby Brill still leads this race.
Yeah, and it looks like Lipicki just came out and jumped on the top line, so now we basically have a rolling roadblock right now at the pace car in the middle. He's currently sitting in 3rd position, and now he's letting these guys by. So now we got the leaders passing the lap traffic, and this is where it gets dicey because, I mean, it's hard if you're on the lead lap to catch up to lap traffic and make it by without kind of shaking the guy you're passing.
Okay, we usually don't do this under green flag, but we're going to right now because I want to see what happened with Daniel Baudler. So we'll kind of keep an eye and see if there's anything else going on the track. But let's go back and take a really quick rec replay and find out what happened with Daniel Baudler there. And so it looks like he's coming around the corner. And that's Danny Dow on his inside. Jacob Smith up into the wall. And Daniel trying to avoid him gets into Danny Dow. So that's what happened there. One guy gets in the wall and it messes up a few other guys.
Yeah, Danny Dow and Baudler actually run some leagues together. So those two, they've got great respect for each other. That was definitely just an incident that neither one of them could have avoided.
So out in the chat, how was that not a caution? The only reason that I can think of, Travis, is that Baudler got down into the infield, and so he was off the track. That's the only thing that I can think of that would not cause a caution. It looked like one single car down away from the racing line. That's all I can think of, buddy.
Yep, and with 8 to go, Dean Brummett has gotten all the way up to 4th, behind David Duke, behind Zimmerman, behind Brill. So we have 3 of the top 4 are playoff drivers, and I definitely see these 3 getting ready to battle for this championship prize.
Dean Brummett's one of the most patient drivers I know, but he can't afford to be too patient for too much longer here.
He can't, and I mean with Bobby Brill doing what Bobby Brill does, I don't know how much tires Dean wants to sacrifice to try to catch up to Bobby Brill. I don't know what he wants to do here.
And so he is going to go up there right behind Devin Zimmerman and then dive back down right behind David Duke. He can't decide which lane to go with.
I think he's trying. I think Duke and Zimmerman, neither one of them really can decide what lanes they're holding because those two have kind of went back and forth. I think Dean is just trying to navigate through it as cleanly as possible. I think that's what he's trying to do. And Adam Pettit has squeezed his way up to 5th place. So the guys we kind of expected to be up front have all kind of made their way up there. So we're about to see how this is getting ready to check out with 6 laps to go.
So Dean Brummett's going to get onto the inside of David Duke. David's probably going to let him go so that he can go try to track down Bobby Brill. And here we go. Corey, 7 laps to go, buddy.
And here it is. I think David Duke's going to let these two guys race it out. I think David Duke's going to sit back there. I think if Zimmerman gives him some competition, he may race Zimmerman, but I do not see David Duke trying to do anything to mess with Dean Brummett and Bobby Brill in this race.
Well, Bobby has opened up a 0.6 of a second lead. Looks like Zimmerman going down to the inside of David Duke as well. David, one of those classy guys. So David's a classy guy. He's going to let him go, I think.
Yeah, well, they just bumped going into that corner. I don't know if it was an accident or if it was him kind of saying, "Hey, stay back here." But they definitely just ran into each other. But it was a really minor incident. But both of them just gave up some speed in it.
And so Bobby Brill still 0.5 second lead, but it was 0.6 of a second just a few laps ago. So this might come down to the wire.
Yeah, it definitely will. That you got half a second between the two of them. Dean is actually gaining almost 100th of a second every second. So he is shaving it down. Looks like down to 4/100ths of a second.
Yeah, so we're looking at his lap times down to there at the bottom. So Dean has gained in the last 2 laps. Let's see if he comes across the start-finish line and gains again. Again, the difference on the track here is about 0.5 of a second, and it's also 3 laps of tires difference. So Dean has the better tires right now. Let's see if it gets any closer this time past the start-finish line.
He's gaining a lot of ground in this in corner 1, but leaving corner 2. You're gonna say Brill opened this lead back up. I don't know if Dean is just that much better in that first turn or what it is, but it seems to be the last couple laps that's what's happened. That Bobby has really taken advantage of this second and third corner.
Dean Brummett still trying to track down Bobby Brill here, and if he gets much closer, he's going to get into that draft, and that's going to make things extremely interesting.
It will, and I would love to see these two guys in these next couple laps get neck and neck with each other. They got 3 laps to go, about to pass it and make it 2 laps to go. And he's at 4/100ths of a, so let's see what happens, or 4/10ths.
Secretly, I want to see a caution here. So and there it is.
There it
Holy
is.
crud.
There it is.
What timing. And Jonathan Byer spinning on the track. So, wow. I secretly wanted to see a caution there so we could see a green-white checker between these two. And first time I've wished for something and gotten it.
Dude, if I was Bobby Brill right now, I would be breaking something because he was where he needed to be, was right there. But on this restart, with him having slightly older tires, I really want to edge this back to Dean as far as advantage goes.
Well, let's take a look back there and find out what happened. And it did involve Jonathan Byer.
And Jake Rowell, it looks like. Byer went down. Looks like he went down kind of low, and when he came back up on the track, he was met with the guy on the track.
Yep, and again, that's him just kind of coming up the track a little bit. It looked like Jake was holding that line really well, so we'll go back and take a look at that from yet another angle and find out if that is the case.
And that's a risk you take if you're gonna play that line where you drop down. When you drop down, you can't expect the guys on the track to give you room if you're below the track. And I mean, guys use that sometimes to make a little quicker lap. But it is what it is. If you're going to play that line, you're going to get the consequences. And so I kind of don't feel bad for him.
All right, and that brings out the yellow flag. And, man, we are about to get the best green-white checker of the entire season right here.
Everybody and their cousin just went down pit road. Looks like we're about to have... I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 guys just went to pit lane.
Bobby Brill sitting back, not sure what's going on there. He did not pit, but he just fell backwards. No idea what's happening here. And now it looks like he's pulling back forward again. So not really sure what happened there, but Bobby Brill is the leader.
It looks like something happened on pit road is what it looks like. I'm not able to find it in the replay, but it looks like I popped back in with him spinning onto the track. So I don't know if somebody bounced him down to the grass or what happened.
Let's go back and take a look. See what we can see here. Oh, I can see. He faked in. Oh, and then he came back. Oh, and hit Dean Brummett under caution. So he faked that he was going into the pits, came back out, and doored Dean Brummett.
Yep.
Wow. Another interesting little scenario. And this is something a lot of guys do. They like to make this little fake to say, hey, I'm going, and then pull right back out at the last second. And Dean Brummett just had that inside line. And, man, he just ran straight into him.
Out of all the guys for him to hit to, it would be Dean Brummett, the guy he's about to battle with. So both these guys are about to have some damage of some sort, racing for the win, being chased down by David Duke, Adam Pettit, Chris Massey, and Greg Olenek. So this is about to be a very, very interesting series of laps.
I mean, I just don't even know what to think right now as far as this is just insane.
It's quite interesting for sure, for sure. This is about to be a whole lot of fun to watch. And I guarantee you, whatever comes of this race, there's going to be a heavy discussion after the race about how this race is about to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Out there in this chat, Travis Trevelyan asking, did Brill hit the commitment cone? We did not see him hit the commitment cone. I'm not really sure where the commitment cone is here at Auto Club. It looked like he was awfully far in there, but I don't see a penalty from iRacing. I've not heard of a penalty from admin, so I think he's still okay.
Yeah, and I can't even find it on my replay. I tried to get a piece of it. On mine, he blinked out right before he went in there. So I mean, it's hard for me to get a good view of it.
I'm going to give you another interesting scenario, Corey. So if we go green, white, checker again, you know who the latest person to pit on the entire track was?
According to what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong, I've got Brad Herman or Graves is who I have. No, I have Zimmerman. I have Zimmerman as the last playoff driver.
I've got Daniel Baudler that just pitted on lap 80. And so if there's another green, white checker, this might get really crazy.
Yeah, we may be seeing the same thing. My numbers may be off, but I'm showing about a 16-lap deficit between the guys that just pitted and the guys that had not pitted.
Well, here we go. So Bobby Brill takes that green flag. And we're going to see what happens right behind him. David Duke on the inside, Dean Brummett on the outside. Looks like Bobby Brill's got a really good line here. Dean Brummett kind of hung out to dry on the outside.
Yeah, and Dean is about to get a little help from his teammate, or not from his teammate, but from a really good guy, Adam Pettit. Looked like they were getting kind of tight. I thought they were about to bump into each other, but no, Adam Pettit's getting up to Dean's bumper, maybe giving him a push. I don't know, but
white flag coming up. Here we go.
No!
Oh, caution! No. You have got to be kidding me.
No! David Duke, I promise you, is breaking everything around him because him and Bobby Brill were about to have the race both of them wanted. They were door and door.
Wow.
Go.
So we're going to go back and find out what happened there because that was so close to being white flag. And if that was white flag, then this race could have been over.
I heard Danny Dow and Mike Lewis say something to each other. I'm assuming it's one of those two, if not both of them. But both of them came on right as that came up.
I will take a look and see, but I'm going to take a look specifically at Danny Dow because he gets way, yep. So Mike Lewis down there on the inside gets into Danny Dow. Danny Dow goes to the outside, gets into the wall, comes back down, takes out Mike Lepicki, and that's Setzer, Crocker.
Setzer again.
Yep, and so and then I also saw Daniel Baudler dive into the pits to avoid that accident. So there's a possibility here that the admin will clear that black flag. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Daniel Baudler drove down in there. It looks like he's coming to the pits anyway.
The longer this goes, the worse it is for Bobby Brill right now because he is still riding on those tires from lap 61.
All right, so this will be green-white checker number 2. And so in this league, we allow 3 green-white checkers before we call the race. And so this is number 2. And so Dean Brummett's going to have to get a much better restart than what he did that time.
Yeah, and Dean Brummett, I don't think he's in the spot he wants to be in right now. He's in 5th, which is not a bad spot. The only problem is you got Chris Massey right in front of you, and Chris Massey is a great driver. I'm not discrediting him when I say this, but when you are racing for the win, you want to be the guy that can jump as soon as the leader jumps. And with Chris Massey being there, if he has a slight hesitation, it is going to really hurt Dean Brummett's chances of making this the race he wants it to be. So his only hope is that Chris Massey makes the jump as soon as Brill does, so Dean can make the jump he needs to make.
And so we are going to find out here in just over a lap. So I think we're going to be coming to the one to go here as we cross the start-finish line. All right, Corey. Man, we have gone more than the scheduled 80 laps. We have gone 17 races. It all comes down to this, and we got Bobby Brill, the guy with more wins this season than anyone else, up front. Do you think he can hold on?
I will tell you this right now. With David Duke being the guy at number 2, David Duke, to the best of my knowledge, has not won a single race this season.
That's correct.
And with this being the CMC championship, him being the CMC driver, David Duke wants nothing more than to blow the doors off everybody right here at this restart. I promise you. If he gets the chance to jump when Brill jumps, he's going for the checkered flag.
So just checking in on all of our other guys that are out there on the track. So Bobby Brill up in first place right now. Dean Brummett in 5th. Devin Zimmerman all the way back in 13th. Matthew Johnson in 15th. Daniel Baudler in 18th. So they are still... Those three in the back are still racing for that third position, which, if you remember, and we'll pull this up here really quickly, if you remember correctly, that championship payout for first place is $500, second place is $250, but they're still racing for that $175 back there. So this thing is not over at all.
No, and they're getting ready to get this restart though, and they're ready to go this restart. I'm telling you, it's about to be everything you could want and some on this restart. You can see Brill's up front trying to warm up his tires, do everything he can to get this jump that he needs. And everybody behind him, I promise you, will do everything they can to slow him down.
All right, so here we go. Pace car is going to dive off. Brill gets this restart. Right beside him, David Duke, who would love to get a win this season. Right behind David Duke, you got Adam Pettit as well. Fantastic driver in his own right. David Duke getting a great start on the outside.
Yeah, it was close. I don't know if he made it clean or not. If he made it clear or not, he just got to jump on the leader. We're going to see. I haven't heard nothing over Discord about him not getting a clean start. So here goes David Duke on the outside, taking first from Bobby Brill, and Dean Brummett's trying to squeeze out third.
And there's Dean Brummett right back there. You got Adam Pettit in front of him for third position. So Dean's still technically sitting in 5th position, and we are going to come around turns 3 and 4 and get to the white flag.
No.
Another yellow flag. You've got to be kidding me. And it's Jonathan Byer. And it's Jonathan Byer. So let's go back and find out what happened with Jonathan Byer with another rec replay. And this is going to be one of those where guys in the back just trying to race hard this last race of the season. And he's going to get side by side with Brian O'Shell. You can see in the Pit Viper car, the number 54. And they're going to get 3 wide. That's Zimmerman. And O'Shell just kind of gets into the side of them. Just not enough room out there for all that. And Byer just gets right back up there on the track, and that's what causes the caution. So now we will go to green-white checkered number 3. And so, again, the way this works, and by the way, David Duke did pass Bobby Brill for the lead. So David Duke is going to get the start here. But the way this works is basically if there is another caution flag, then the field freezes, and whoever's in first place at that time, that's who's going to win this race.
Yeah, and I really hope that, I know most of these guys aren't listening to this broadcast, but if these guys would just hold on and let these guys up front race for this checker flag, nobody wants us to end on a green-white checker. So I really hope these guys all over the track just kind of race clean this last time. If not, it's going to end on a green-white checker, and nobody wants to see that. We want to see these guys cross this start-finish line as many wide as possible.
And so I know I know David Duke has this opportunity here, and he has made it very, very vocal this entire season, to me at least, that he wants a win so badly in this league. And he is likely, I would say he is one of the top 3 drivers in this league that doesn't have a win. And I would love to see that happen for him tonight. I know there's championship implications other places, but it would make me feel good for the CMC Fabrication car to bring home a race win at the CMC Fabrication 160. And so I know Corey right now listening to the discussion on the chat channels right now. There is a lot of discussion going on. We're not really sure what that discussion is about right now, but truth be told, it doesn't matter. We're still here on the track. We got David Duke up there in the catbird seat. He has got he's the one up towards the front with the freshest tires. So lap 64 was his last pit. Going back a little bit further, Brandon Key in 6th position pitted on lap 79. So he's got super fresh tires out there.
Yeah, Brandon Key, like as far as tires go, would have the best advantage, but the guys in front of him all having around the same type of tires, it takes you having a little bit of a gap to kind of weave your way through there. And these guys up front, I think, are going to be kind of close-knit, like really tight together. So I don't think he's going to be able to take advantage of the fresh tires. He's going to have to go high and drop in and try to slide inside these guys like on these corners, but I don't think they're going to let him do it. I think these guys are going to be lifting a little earlier. They're going to be dropping in early, so it's not going to allow Brandon Key to do what he needs to do. He can try to pass on the outside, but I don't think he's going to have enough speed and gain enough ground to make it worthwhile with just 3 laps to go. I really think he's in a spot that he's going to have to finesse his way into the front if he does it.
Yeah, David Duke is one of the best restarters out there. And honestly, it's going to be hard for anybody to keep up with him. If he even gets 1 length, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing kind of what he does because I really don't know what he's going to do here as far as the restart goes. And looks like I'm really just not sure. I'm really not sure what he's doing. It looks like Brill's kind of hanging back in 2nd, which is kind of unusual. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Dean's kind of hanging back. I'm not quite sure what all these guys are doing. It looks like they're all getting ready to tighten up right before the restart. That way they don't bunch up right at the restart. So we're going to see what these guys are getting ready to do. Pitt's getting ready to dive in. There goes the pace car, and there goes David Duke.
And he gets that 1 car length there, and we're going to see if Brill can keep up. But it looks like down to the inside, Adam Pettit on the inside is not going to let Brill down. And that's why Brill didn't want to be on the outside. I guarantee it. He can't come down to that inside, which is the better line. Now he can. So Brill coming in 2nd position right now, but David Duke just driving away from it. You got Dean Brummett desperately trying to track them down. Adam Pettit in 3rd though, and so this might be where this all ends up unless something happens. But again, if there is a caution flag, then that is the end of the race.
Well, I'm watching the back of the pack, and the rest of the guys seem to be going pretty. They seem to be doing pretty good. I see a couple cars diving down, but nobody's really.
White flag.
Up there, and there's a wreck at the back too. So
but white flag, we're still going. Yep.
White flag, 100%.
Oh, and now we got another wreck. That's Zimmerman. Zimmerman's wrecked up on the top of the track, so he's going to fall back. And we will take a look and see what that does to everybody. But we are still white flag. We're still going. Bobby Brill and Jake Roel side by side going into turns 3 and 4. It looks like David Duke is going to win this CMC Fabrication 160. So David Duke finally gets the win this season here in the championship race. David Duke with that win. But first place in – I believe that was after. Yeah, that was after everything happened. So the way I'm seeing it here, Bobby Brill takes 3rd in the race, and I believe that makes him our champion.
Yeah, he was the best playoff driver as far as finishing goes. So that should make him the champion.
That's what I am seeing from this point of view. So we will double check that. Brian O'Shell driving right up next to him. Brian O'Shell and Bobby, good friends there. So what a fantastic season. What a fantastic race. David Duke, congratulations. I think they're trying to push Bobby Brill's car back to the pits. His car might be dead at this point.
Yeah, he kind of lost it right there at the very, very end of it. But, yeah, it's a heck of a time for David Duke. And I promise you, that burnout he's doing right now, he has waited the entire race or the entire season for what he's doing right now.
Well, so let's pull up the stats here. So David Duke with the win, Jake Rowell in second, Bobby Brill, based on what we have here, wins the championship, wins MidSouth Madness and $500. Then you got Adam Pettit in fourth, Brandon Key in fifth.
Yep, and we're waiting to see. Did you have the shakeout as far as how the guys went as far as the championship goes? We got Brill in first.
Looks like Dean Brummett in eighth, so that means that he will take the second position in the championship. And then behind that, Matt Johnson will take third in the championship. Devin Zimmerman will take fourth, and I believe Daniel Baudler will take fifth.
That is what I'm saying too. I mean, it's a heck of a finish for these guys. Heck of a finish.
What an incredible season! What an incredible race! And so we will, and once again, Brill's car is absolutely dead. So Matt Johnson, class act here. So one of the other playoff drivers pushing him around the track. We wish there could have been a burnout, but there is not one. Let's see what we can do to get a couple of these guys into the chat here, so we can say congratulations and talk to him a little bit. So let's see if we can find Matt Johnson. And, yeah, let me grab him here really quick and have a little chat with him. So, Matt Johnson, this is Sean and Corey up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
Going good, buddy. You got a copy on.
Man, what a fantastic season. What a fantastic race. You finished off in third in the playoffs, man. Congratulations.
Buddy, thank you. The car was pretty good. I got some damage here on pit road that kind of hindered me there at the end, but what a race. What a job by Bobby. Great job by Bobby Brill. I hate to say it, I was kind of pulling for Dean there, but come up a little bit short, but what a season it's been, my man.
Man, it has been a lot of fun. We appreciate you being out here. I mean, what was it that you did that, back at the very beginning of the race, you were all the way back in 24th position. What were you thinking at that point?
Just let it come to me. The same thing I've done all season. Just, I know I'm not the fastest guy out here. I don't have the long run tire speed. It's just letting it come to me, and that's exactly what I did tonight. The car was good. It was a great night overall.
Awesome, man. Well, we love seeing you out there racing. Congratulations on a great season. Third place in the championship, not a bad deal.
No, not at all. I want to thank Families Fighting Blue for coming on board the car. This week and last week, FSM Custom, their brothers made this happen. And I'll be back next season once again.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a great night, all right? All right, well, let's take a look and see if we can grab David Duke, the winner of this race, and talk to him a little bit. I know he definitely needed and wanted this race really badly. So let's pull him up here. David Duke, Sean and Corey up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Oh, it is good to talk to you guys.
Man, it is good to talk to you, too. I know we've been waiting for this all season long, and CMC Fabrication 160, the CMC Fabrication car, wins the day.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. This is my first MidSouth Madness win. Glad it was on the last race here for my sponsor, CMC Fabrication. Got to thank Kurt Coffey for coming on board this year and helping us out.
Man, tell us what you were thinking, especially going into that green-white checker, and then you took the lead away from Bobby and got another yellow. What was going through your mind?
On that one restart, I got a killer restart. I had his nose there in the corner of my screen, and as soon as it lunged a little bit forward, I took off and was able to maintain momentum on the outside there out of two and cleared him. And as soon as the caution come out, I felt pretty good. I knew he had some right front damage on that cat and mouse game that him and Dean played, getting on or faking each other out on pit road. So I knew he had a little bit of damage, so I knew he was going to be pretty tight, and I knew that was going to hold the outside line up. So I felt pretty good about it. But I'll be honest with you, as soon as it went green, I was hoping for another yellow, so just end it under yellow. That would have been fine with me too, but I was glad to race for it.
Man, that is awesome, and really, really great to see you in victory lane. I've seen you in victory lane so many times outside of this league, but seeing you in this league in the victory lane, it's just kind of where you belong, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, it's been a long time coming. A lot of just fluky stuff this season. Didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but great to end it on a high note going into next season. Make some noise next year.
All right, buddy. Well, we will see you then. Congratulations on the win tonight.
Yeah, hey, once again, thank you, Sean, for everything you've done for the broadcast. We greatly appreciate all your and Jason and Corey's hard work. Thank you, CMC Fabrication, Silverback Tax Solutions, and everybody else that come on board to help us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great night.
Yep.
All right, let's see if we can't get the second place. This is going to be, and in the Discord, I'll tell you this. So he is called the COVID Crusader, and so this is going to be Dean Brummett, who came back from COVID last week. He came back from COVID, had the win there. Tonight, takes second place in the championship. Dean, this is Sean and Corey up in the booth. How's it going, man?
It's been better, guys, but I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I know the first 50 laps of this race, you had this thing licked, and then all the cautions started coming. Man, what were you thinking the first 50 laps?
More than anything, first 50 laps, I was thinking hopefully it goes green. Hopefully we can go through and keep it that way because the car was awesome. First few cautions happened. I mean, they fell all right, but as the track kind of went through the night, it got a little looser, and then finally it just got to where I felt like was a perfect point, and it just, it drove so good.
Oh man, we enjoyed watching you out there, and I mean, first got to ask this question. I know you were out with COVID 2 weeks ago. Last week you were still kind of weak. Are you feeling better overall?
Yeah, buddy. Overall, we're completely back to we're back to 100% status. We just just need a little rest. Well, I guess I won't say 100%. A few things here and there, but nothing to keep anybody out of commission.
All right, man. Well, we absolutely love watching you race out there. Can't wait to see what you do next season. Anybody you want to thank before we send you right back down to your team?
I want to thank my sponsors, Striker Motorsports, all my teammates. Sean, I want to thank you for a wonderful season, and we'll see how the tape turns out. I'll just say that much.
All right, man. Sounds good. You have a great night. Congratulations on second place.
You have a good night.
All right. All right. Well, now I believe it's time to go down there and see if we can find. I'm not sure I see him. Let me see if I see him in the chat. I do. So let's see if we can pull up our grand champion. So this is going to be Bobby Brill. And so Bobby Brill, this is Sean and Corey up in the booth. How's it going, buddy? Hey, Bobby. You got a copy? Oh, no, Bobby just jumped right back out. So not sure. Not sure he wants to be interviewed right now. So
he's out and Mike is muted.
And he muted his mic immediately. That's hilarious. Okay, so we're not going to have an interview with our grand champion, but congratulations to Bobby Brill on just a fantastic season. So much fun. This was his. He had 4 wins on the season, and then winning the grand championship as well. So I will bring back up next season's leagues here. So anybody that's out there in the Discord or in the chat room on YouTube that wants to race with us next season, we do have 3 fixed Cup series. So the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, and then all those are fixed setups. So more information on that will be on speedracingnetwork.com. And then we also have the Open Cup Championship Series. So this is the S-Rock series, and so open setups in the Cup cars, 75% distance, so nice long races, mainly NASCAR rules and schedules, going to be just a lot of fun. So hope everybody there joins us. Corey, I want to thank you for stepping in tonight and broadcasting with me.
Sir, it was an absolute blast. and I try to keep my absolutes to an absolute minimum. And dude, yeah, it was an absolute blast. This was probably one of the best races I could have called too, because the way it finished, I absolutely enjoyed it. If you ever need me again, I'll always be here.
I appreciate it, buddy. Well, everybody, please have a safe evening, a great evening, and we will see everybody in January when we start back up the next season, which is the Speed Racing Virtual Cup. So definitely come back and see us. Everybody have a great evening.
Hey,
yeah,
Sean, before we log out, if y'all have any questions and want to join any of our leagues, find Jason Tripp, Sean Griffith, Corey Knight on Facebook or on iRacing, and we will be sure to get you that information.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great evening. We'll see you next season.